You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show.
Listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Danny White gave Kim Caldwell said he would do it all over again. You know, it's a sweet and romantic thing to say to your significant other. I would do it all over again. What a beautiful sentiment from him. And the Lady Vols are in action tonight. Bri, how in the world is Alabama, who's an absolute tomato can on dry ice, how in the world is Alabama, Bri, ranked ahead or projected ahead of, or however you want to say it? They got a leg up and they got a leg over on the Lady Vols in national seeding, Bri. Explain that to me. What are we doing?
Well, when you've lost, I guess, what is it, 8 out of 10?
Yep.
You sort of lose the benefit of the doubt, but all those losses are to teams that I think are ranked higher than the Lady Vols. So,
yep.
Except you did lose to Mississippi State at home, which kind of hurts an A&M. I guess that's the difference. But Alabama got run over by the Lady Vols earlier in the year in Tuscaloosa.
They're going to get run over tonight.
I think the second half disadvantage that they've had recently, Alabama had to play the night before, so we'll see if that holds up in this game. That'll be interesting because the Lady Vols are more rested.
Matt, you and Brian, theory. Matt Dixon's here. You and Brian were, and by the way, Tony Jones a little later on in the show, who's hanging a banner over at Johnson, and we're going to celebrate with him. Because Tony Jones, friend of the show, friend of humanity, friend of Big Orange Country, one of us, Joan Osborne, the whole thing. One of Us, written by Robert Basilio of Your Hooters. Look it up, kids. Really good song off the Relish record from Joan Osborne. But, Matt, I'm a whole lot of encouraged by yesterday. Let's start with the kid on the mound. Your thoughts on that kid who looked excellent yesterday. Appenzeller gets the hype, but boy, that kid looks like a really nice arm.
Yeah, Taylor Tracy, a two-way guy. He hit ninth in the lineup too, which second day in a row that your starting pitcher also hit, which I think I wrote about in the blog. It's going to become more common now with the roster limits, but it's always still unique to see, at least right now. No, he was excellent. 3 perfect innings with 7 strikeouts. That Oakland team's non-competitive. I think they were 1-10. Just not a good team, but no, he looked really good. For whatever reason, Oakland took a bunch of strikeouts, or it was like middle, like low 90s fastballs, just right down the middle of the plate.
Yes.
And then watch them. So that's not going to translate, against quality teams. But no, it was a great first start for a guy. And you got Blake Grimmer and Garrett Wright both came, made their first starts of the year returning from injury, and both had really impressive days. Grimmer, kind of one of those midweek All-Americans last year, just absolutely hammered non-conference pitching and did it again yesterday. And Garrett Wright, who is a catcher center fielder, which is a unique combo.
Wow.
Got on base a bunch, got hit twice, which is what he's kind of known for. I think he set Bowling Green's record last year.
Matt, he's
hit by pitches.
Hey, Matt, he's a tantalizing athlete, right?
Yes. Yeah. And him and Grimmer both give Elander a lot of flexibility at catcher, first base, and DH, and maybe even kind of center, all that. It just gives them a lot more options that they can mix and match. And if a guy like Levi Clark continues to struggle, you can, move him down in the order, take him out of the lineup. Like, you just gives you a lot more flexibility going forward, which is great to see.
And a guy like Levi Clark knows.
Just real quick, when Ariel Antigua homers off your pitching staff,
yes,
you've got to be really bad.
Brian, you went
credit
yesterday.
to that kid.
Brian, you went yesterday. Your first time in the stadium, yes?
Second.
All right, give me your impressions.
First time in the upper deck.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll be honest, the new configured third level, and I don't want to sit anywhere else when I go.
Give it to me, Brian.
It's just absolutely stunning up there. You have to go through a separate entrance to get to there. You can't go through the main
That's
entrance.
right. You got to have an elevator.
And
that's right.
You have to have not a lanyard, but a wristband.
That's right.
And you go up, and once you get off the elevator, you're inside. They've got a bar in there, and they've got, I guess when they have bigger conference games, there'll be more stuff, probably food-wise. And you go out, and then you have these suites, and then also you have other seats that are out. They're all underneath a cover. They're cushioned. They're comfortable. I don't know. I don't want to sit anywhere else when I go to a baseball game. Now I'm spoiled. Do with that what you will. I loved it up there.
Look down on all the common fans.
All the plebes.
Right.
Yeah. That's what Brian
You
didn't
said it,
say.
I didn't.
Yeah, Brian was tossing water balloons.
He even got a foul ball. That should have been the first thing you mentioned, Brian.
Brian, did you share it with a kid?
Did you catch it like off a hop? Or
yeah,
of course I did.
Okay. Did you take a glove?
Off a ricochet. No, didn't have a glove. Didn't need one.
Brian, when Ariel Antigua hit that shot, and I want the absolute truth out of you, did you stand? Did you give it up for him? Were you going crazy?
Hopefully there's more where that came from.
I love him. Let me tell you something. Danny White and his crew have done an incredible job with that stadium. That thing is first class, 100% all the way. When you walk in there, I call that thing, I call that stadium a celebration of baseball. Now, I wish Tennessee would do a thing where they would have a deal where the people that aren't going to go to these midweek games, because the season ticket holders aren't going to the midweek games. It's just too much baseball. I mean, this week you would have been there 5 of 7 days. I mean, let's be honest about it. You could have a kid playing, and 5 of 7 days, 5 games in 7 days is a lot of games in a lot of days. I mean, I'm not a mathematizer, but aside from Monday and Thursday, there's a game every day in that building this week. That is a lot. Now, the Tubs obviously are going to make them, they're going to make the scene. But for the most part, Tennessee ought to figure out a way to get those tickets in the hands of people that want to go. Because, Matt, that's kind of a shame, isn't it? That there was only like 1,500, 2,000 people there to see my main man, Ariel Chico Bell-Bonds Antigua, going deep. Looks like he's from Bad News Bears. I love that kid. He's so boyish looking.
Hey, the dugout and the crowd went crazy when that happened.
Say?
Good for him, a guy who's stuck around in this transfer era where If it doesn't go your way, you leave the first moment. A guy who hasn't had the success or playing time that he has wanted and gone through some struggles, for him to do that is really cool. The dugout exploded. The crowd exploded. That was a good moment for him. I hope it continues. He had like a couple of like warning track flyouts the last couple of years, but no, for him to get that was a great moment for him. I'm glad it happened.
Brian, Stevo764 is reporting here on YouTube, and I know you're not a big YouTube guy, but we've got 100 people watching us after 5 minutes, so it must be doing something right. He says that there are reports up there. Well, somebody said on Twitter they saw you taking the ball away from a young kid. You wrestle a ball away from a kid up there yesterday, Brian? That's untoward as a member of our radio family here.
There were no young kids around me. As a matter of fact, I nearly had an entire section to myself. And it was hit right into my section.
Let's go. Hey, Matt, this baseball team, I guess my point of bringing all this thing up is generally those midweek games are a great way to get some guys some work, blah, 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 blah. What yesterday's game shows you is that your snap judgment of Tennessee a couple weeks ago could be, oh, well, Punch and Judy team, this, that, and the other. No. They've just introduced 3 new players who could, might, should, depending on what you want to use there, be real factors at the plate for these guys before it's over. It's pretty exciting. I mean, you stop and think about that. Pretty good unveiling day for Tennessee yesterday, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it before. I don't think there's a sport where teams change, either for good or bad more than college baseball because of the limited, preseason practice time and the weather and just developing throughout a year. So yeah, any snap judgments made really before league play begins are subject to be blown up when the league play begins. But no, it was a great night, kind of a typical midweek non-conference game that Tennessee fans have gotten used to, where you just, you put it on a team. You did that pretty well. So that was good to see. Got a big game, our big series this weekend with Wright State. So that should be a lot of fun too.
And I understand they're not off to a great start, right, Matt?
No, they're not, but they never are. Again, they play up north. They don't do a lot of practice time. Don't play outside. Practice outside hardly at all.
So you don't draw anything from it.
They'll win they'll almost certainly win their league in the regular season and be a favorite to make some noise in the NCAA tournament. But no, they're kind of struggling right now too. They're probably an even better example than Tennessee of teams that just don't click at the start of a season.
2 things
I saw. Oakland and Wright State are in the same conference, right?
That's correct. And by the way, about Oakland, where did Tony Jones coach before he went to Johnson, where he won his title yesterday, Bri? See how good you are.
He was an assistant coach at Oakland on Greg Campy's staff.
You better freaking believe it.
What's the over-under on number of Oakland baseball games Tony Jones has gone to in his life?
A guy's a sportsman. I wouldn't put it past him.
They needed Jack Golke out there yesterday shooting threes.
The guy, Jack Golke.
Shout out Kentucky. Gave up 10 of them in that tournament game.
Let's freaking go. Yeah, I'm pretty fired up, folks, prepared for today's program. Brian, we're going to burn the midnight oil tonight watching the Lady Vols. What time's that tip?
It's going to tip around probably 8:30 Eastern. It's the last game of the day.
I'm giving my cold to Xanax about 9 o'clock.
Late night for Bino.
Yeah, no question. No question. Guys, over on the blog today, I did a report with C, and I want to go through this as we go through this hour. Who's getting a bang for the buck in the league? Who's getting banged for their buck in the league? And we put this together with just wanted to get on paper so everybody could look at it. And if you're wondering what the expenditures are, I want to encourage you to head over to tclub.team, tonybasilio.com, however you want to get there. But, and by the way, we're live tomorrow at Calhoun's on the River. But we deep dive the payrolls in the league. I don't know if either one of you have had a chance to look at it. But the big spenders in the league this year, and this is going to change by year. One point that we make in the blog, C helped me put this together. One point we make in the blog is that the two Mississippi schools, they can't go for it every year. There are going to be teams in our league that are going to keep their powder dry. Some years they're going to go for it, some years not. Like LSU basketball this year, they went for it. Now, it blew up in their face because the two guys they bought, their two high-ticket items, never saw the floor in SEC play, which really inhibited them from having a successful run at it. But Tennessee, it just barely is in Tier 2, along with Texas and Alabama. But Tier 2 is nothing to sneeze at. You're talking about the beginning of Tier 2, you're spending $7 to $8 million, as Texas did with Sean Miller. And the belief in the deal is that Texas going forward, now that they've got Sean Miller there, is going to be a big spender in men's basketball. Now they have a coach they can believe in, and it's been a while. Guys, when's the last time they had a coach they believed in there, you think? Would it have been Barnes, Matt?
Rick Barnes.
It's got to be, right?
Shaka Smart lost to Abilene Christian in the first round one year.
But he was the hot name when they hired him, though.
Yep.
I mean, it just didn't work out, and he's not really adapted to the NIL portal stuff. But
yep.
I mean, he was the hot name when they got him. Sean Miller is a really good coach.
Yes.
He kind of underachieves in the tournament as a favorite, but no, he'll do really well there.
He'll fit in perfectly.
Yeah, he's a great
with their history and our history. Yeah. Win a lot of games, have a lot of high water. Their history and Sean Miller might be be a good hire here. Our history drives me nuts. But you know what? This is a thought I had, and I'm going to throw it out here. Matt, these Final Four people and look, I'm not going to tell anybody how to behave or how to think. I never have. And truth be told, at different points in my life, and maybe even during this season, I've been you. Some of the we're never going to go to the Final Four. Okay. I mean, all right. How about South Carolina? Would you trade? They went to their Final Four, and then in 8 subsequent basketball seasons, they've won 20 games one time, and I think it was 21 games. It wasn't even like it was some 27-win season where they blew the doors off. They've had like 3 coaches. They're a total waste. They're a waste of space. And if you'll look down at our blog, they are at the very, very, very bottom of the 4th tier in the league. They spent $2 to $2.5 million on their roster. Michi Johnson makes about $1 million alone. And then the rest of their roster, they've got the Mongolian Stomper mat and table scraps. Would you trade, Matt, to do that?
No, not at all. No, they're non-competitive in every year, but that one where they got on a heater and I think they had a bracket open up for them and took full advantage. I think they either played Duke or Duke got upset. And I think that was something weird where they played a bunch of those tournament games like in South Carolina. So they were almost kind of home games. They had changed venues at the last minute because of politics. And, they took full advantage. And I think they beat Florida in the Elite Eight. And that Florida team was one of the Mike White teams where they were only like a 4 or 5 seed and got hot. So, but no, I wouldn't trade that because I think they've made the tournament like 1 or 2 other times and gotten beat in the first round. So, what's the fun in that?
865.
They beat Duke in the second round in Greenville. That had Jason Tatum on it.
That's right.
For 1 year.
Yep. Who's a total, complete loser. If it wasn't for Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum never would have held a trophy. You know it, and I know it. And Konzo Martin molded and shaped Jaylen Brown into the man and the player he is today, and that's the very next level. We come back. Zach asks a very interesting question, which is, where is Florida? Zach, head over to tclub.team, TonyBasilio.com, and check it out, because we'll talk about it. It's interesting now that the season basically has come into view, and we're going to kind of look at who the underachievers are, the overachievers are in the league versus the payroll, or is it pretty much what you spend is what you get in the league this year? I don't think it is at Kentucky, but we'll talk about it as we continue. 865-200-5402 as we continue with more on your other side, and bring it on back after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Achillio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair. And they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms. And I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes Light. Carnes Motor Company.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest, finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
And as always, we go for the up here on the Basilio Show. And look, the weather's beautiful outside. There's no place I'd rather be than right here with you in beautiful East Tennessee, celebrating what is another great sports weekend coming up. Celebrating what is a senior day with all these great seniors who have really given us great memories, the senior class at Tennessee. Tonight, the Lady Vols are in action. One of the only days this week without Tennessee baseball. It really is a commitment. I mean, Matt Dixon loves every minute of it. He's going to spend 5 days. He wasn't on the Tennessee basketball postgame Maury Hanks was in the other night because Matt loves every minute of it. Every single dat-gum minute in that ballpark. And I'll tell you something. The weather has been, it has just been incredible. Incredible. So, really, really excited to be with you today. We have a call. Guys, should we get this call in? Bri, what do you think? Or should we go through this list of and see how it matches up with the results we've seen on the court, this list from the NIL. See how it matches up. What do you want to do?
Let's take the call.
All right, let's do that. Bri's producing. Through the glass. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Gino Muppet.
Well, you can smack me for that, Tone.
Bri, what's behind door number 3? Because we just got the booby prize. All right, let's go through this list here. Because it's interesting to look at. It's interesting to consider. Matt, you tell me if it's money well spent. You ready? Kentucky spent this year, the belief in the industry is approximately $20 million. Tony, where'd you get these figures? Well, we talked to people, and then our guy Trilly, several other sources, just kind of poking around, talking to different agents, people like that. All these figures, as I put on the blog, are approximate because nobody really knows. They don't publish this stuff. I'm of the belief, after watching South Carolina the other night, Matt, that there ought to be a minimum expenditure that you should spend if you're fielding an SEC basketball team. Because I'm not sure South Carolina rises to the level of a competitive team, fielding a worthwhile product. Am I wrong in that?
Well, they do field one. It's just on the women's side. The women's team gets that rev share money, right, as opposed to the men's team. So,
which I do point out.
that's the deal in this area. You've got to pick and choose, and you have to sacrifice some sports somewhere. And they've obviously kind of done that with the men's program. And why would you? Or why wouldn't you with how successful their women's team? I mean, they've got the second best program in the country. You could argue it's the best with what Dawn Staley's done. So
she's so next level. Here's the thing about South Carolina: they are easily, as we wrote today, easily spending twice as much in women's basketball as they are men's basketball. I'm talking like easily. Commissioner Bockwinkel says that first caller is like getting a whammy on your first spin on Press Your Luck. That's very good. Press Your Luck was, while my smart friends were watching Jeopardy, I was watching things like The Joker's Wild and Press Your Luck. And maybe washing it down with the dating game.
The Card Sharks, Tone.
The Card Sharks, yeah, Brian.
Sale of the century.
Bri only watched the Old Price is Right with Bob Barker to see Janice up there. Boy, that Bob Barker, we later learned, was, how do you put this in mixed, a little pervy. But remember
to
have your
spayed and neutered, Tone.
Yep, but how about your game show host? All right, let's go with tier one, Matt. You tell me if they're getting their money for their money, math for their money, bang for their buck. Kentucky spent $20 million with incentives. See, that number that's quoted about Kentucky's payroll, we added with incentives, and several of their players obviously are not going to reach those incentives, but conservatively, on the conservative side, Kentucky spent $15 to $20 million this year. And they do have a few guys that are on multi-year deals for what it's worth. And as we've seen, multi-year deals in the sport can be broken one way or the other. Matt, bang for their buck, Kentucky number one. What do you think?
No, not this year, but Kentucky has to lead the league in spending every year in hoops. They're kind of the only hoops first program in the SEC.
That's right.
But no, they're not getting their return on investment this year.
One conclusion that both C and I wonder is, will they be loose with the purse strings next year in year 3 under this guy? Mitch Barnhart is getting out of there. That was his hire. That's point one. Point two, unless this guy makes a long run in March, and Matt, I don't see them making a long run in March. Do you? I mean, anything can happen in March. We can make a long run in March. Anything can happen. I think there's a little bit of buyer's remorse from Kentucky fans toward one of their own right now. What do y'all think?
Well, he was like the fifth option. Like, they had a couple of guys turn him down. So he is kind of the best they could kind of get at that time. And that's probably why they're bringing in a new AD to give him some time to, kind of a year to get settled and evaluate things, and then potentially make a hire next year.
Yeah, I would bet on that. The next one is, there's several interesting little like moving parts deals here when you look at this. And if you read the report, you'll see there's like the Stephen Pearl thing at Auburn. You would think they're not until you take a really close look at this thing, okay? You would think, did Britney Spears just get arrested? Brian, look that up. You would think that it just came across one of my phone feeds, probably fake. You would think like that a Stephen Pearl, Auburn. Auburn had a player bought off their roster. Yes, what?
Yes, she was arrested for DUI in California, TMZ reports.
My Rona May. Why would somebody that wealthy be behind the wheel of a car driving drunk? What are we doing? That is about the most idiotic thing in the world. First of all, somebody like her has to have drivers. Secondly, we have a thing called Uber. I mean, what in the world, y'all? I mean, anyway, poor Brittany. The thing about Auburn is they actually lost a player or two off their roster to other teams in the league. And so they didn't have, even after going to a Final Four, Matt, can you imagine if we made a Final Four, how high our expenditure would be the next year? How much of an open blank check Rick Barnes would have? Can you imagine that, Matt?
He'd have everything available to him.
Anything.
Yeah.
They shut the spigot on Bruce
Didn't
Pearl.
they get a player from Mississippi State, though, Keyshawn? I think Murphy.
Well, Mississippi State's a bottom feeder in the league, Bri. They are, if you look at the report, they're 15 or 14 in the league. They're way down there. But here's the thing. Arkansas spent $10 to $12 million this year. They're number 2 in the league. Fantastic freshmen, did not come cheaply. And neither was the rest of that roster. Matt, bang for their buck at Arkansas. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, so far, obviously a lot of it hinges on the tournament. But, yeah, I've kind of said all year I think they have the highest march upside of any SEC team.
Yep.
And they're not as good as Florida, but I still think that might be true because of their guard play. And that freshman point guard he's unreal. Like I know there's some other elite freshmen across the country, but I mean if that guy's not a top 5 pick, I don't know what is.
Florida jumped. That guy's an awesome player. Florida jumped to number 3 on this list, and the reason is when you win a national championship, to keep their core front line guys, they had to pay those guys. And again, these are going to fluctuate year to year. We expect Texas to jump Florida. We expect Tennessee to get over Florida in subsequent seasons. But this year, they were forced to pay because they wanted to keep their core that had just won a national championship intact. And they didn't. And it would not have been a good look if teams were rating their roster. And so, almost in a peer pressure sense, they were forced to pay the guys on their roster. Matt, them having the number 3 payroll in the league and having the team that they have, I would call that bang for the buck. I give them an A+ on the season they've had.
Yeah. I mean, coming off a natty, losing all those guards that they did, and they lost Aberdeen to Kentucky.
Yep.
Who, they let Kentucky overpay for him.
Yes.
And then they got Boogie Fland from Arkansas, kind of a trade-off there. But no, I mean, they won the league outright with like 2 games to play. Potentially could be a 1 seed again and make the Final Four again. Yeah, they've absolutely been a really impressive coaching job by Peeping Todd.
Then we go to tier number 2. Good work by Matt, slipping in a Peeping Todd on a Thursday. Texas is number 4 in the league in expenditure. They've spent $7 to $8 million. All these teams are basically in this tier. The Texas, the Alabama, the Tennessee, the A&Ms, and the Vanderbilts are spending roughly the same amount of money. I mean, if you want to go to approximations, they're right in the same ballpark, and they're doing it differently. Texas is interesting because they hire Sean Miller. They had an era last year where they basically didn't bring anybody back from last year's team, so they had to go out and buy. And they put together an ad hoc roster rather quickly, and they've made the NCAA tournament. And I'm going to argue with you guys that, and by the way, here's a caveat. Texas is going to be a big spender going forward because the early returns are they like Sean Miller there, and they've got some basketball boosters online who are hungry to win at a high level. So watch for Texas to really get in the game this spring. And a double, by the way, for you, which is also in our report today, is that, and it's hard to keep track of this stuff, but the portal this year opens much later than it did in the past. Championship Monday, the championship game, is when the portal opens, and it goes for 15 days. So just a word there, and it's going to be a mad scramble. And guys, I think that's a proper adjustment. I didn't like the concept of us going to the Elite Eight and seeing other people in the portal and getting really active with it. That made no sense. I'm glad they've done what they've done here. What do y'all think?
Yeah, it would be sensible if football could do the same thing, but the calendar stretches their season out so far that it's almost impossible for them.
That's right. That's right. Time's not of the essence in basketball. It made no sense for them to have that portal laying right on top of their playoff. In football, there's no other way to do it because you're out of time and you're captive by that next semester, right, Matt? I mean, it's kind of lays right on top of the other.
Yeah, you have to still play school with these guys.
Yeah. So, when we get to Tennessee, I got a couple interesting things for you. And I got a couple really good things for you guys off the air, remind me. But Texas is number 4, and they're solidly in the NCAA tournament with a reworked roster. And even though they're way up there, Matt, I think that's a pretty good year for them expenditure-wise. They've gotten a bang for their buck. They're back in the NCAA tournament comfortably. What do y'all think?
Yeah, just making the tournament and in year one with the new coach. Yeah, they probably had to overpay to get that roster because they just kind of scramble last minute deal. But they're to make the tournament, especially with how bad they were early in the year.
Yeah,
especially in league play. They're really kind of hit or miss. But yeah, to get back to the tournament is impressive.
Nate Oates gets on my last nerve. Alabama's number 5. He's figured out a way in a dingy, dark arena to breathe life into that thing to the point where they're a top 5 spender in the sport on their payroll in this league. LeBaron Philon is a guy they talked out of last year's NBA draft. Maury's talked about him. Maury talked the other night about the impact of when you're drafted at the end of the first round, where he was going to be last year, or the lottery, where he projects now with the season he's had, you're talking about a guy that made a pretty good decision. Alabama has a payroll of $6.5 to $7 million, and they spent a lot of money on Philon to keep him there. And the Holloway kid is the kid they bought off Auburn's roster, which just shows you that Auburn, again, this cycle, they shut the spigot off on Bruce Pearl after he made the Final Four. Auburn got kind of run over last year in the transfer portal compared to what Auburn used to do.
If they had not shut the spigot off, would Bruce Pearl had still stepped away?
I don't know, because he knew this team wasn't any good, Brian. We talked about it preseason. His son's going to get the blame, but anybody with half a brain knows that they were down this year. They just were. And I don't know what, to me, if I was Bruce Pearl, if I was wanting my son to succeed, I would walk away with my team at the height of its powers, not in a down year. But maybe it was just time for him to go, and it's just the way the cookie crumbled. Who knows? Tennessee's number 6 to $6.5 million. Of course, Nate Ament wasn't cheap. Now, in the Ament thing, this is interesting, right? Because we were doing the math, and Ament obviously is a $4 million deal, but part of that comes from Tennessee's shoe deal. Part of that comes from his shoe deal. Part of that comes from a few other endorsements Tennessee was able to wrangle for him. So basically, they put together a package for him. So not all of their $6 to $6.5 million, 4 of it doesn't come from Nate Ament, just to clear that up. Because Gillespie gave Tennessee a hometown discount, and then for the rest of the roster, there's about $1.5 to $2 million sort of sprinkled around. And that's why you get a team that looks like it looks. If Gainey would have won his court case, or ZZ would have won his, Tennessee probably would have been in the $8 to $8.5 million range. If they would have gotten Isaac McNeely here, Tennessee probably would have been touching $8 million. But as it was, they had to go cheap, sprinkle some money around on some 2 guards, and we know the rest of the story. I'm telling you right now, the Vols are going to be extremely active in the portal. One of their main items is keeping their freshman class here. on the front burner, and that means they're going to have some tough decisions to make, because the belief is, guys, is that there are some teams in the league that are willing to go north of $1 million for a guy like J.P. Estrella, and Tennessee has to figure out whether or not they want to do that. Matt, if you were sitting in the room, what would you tell them?
See how healthy he finishes out the year and whatever. And I'd like to know what Cade Phillips' outlook is going forward. But that's a lot of money for a guy that
plays 9 games
that you can't rely on. Yeah.
No. And he's a nice player, but he's
not a difference maker either.
No.
With how injuries have kind of held him back.
Yes.
It's a lot to invest in a guy that may not play half your games.
So this is kind of the issue. Tennessee spending, Matt, 6th in the league. I would argue, again, Rick Barnes and his staff have done a great job this year to get these guys on the cusp. And when you put it on paper and you look, and I didn't do it to do this. This is just me talking extemporaneously in the context of this discussion. It's a pretty damn good job. Brian, win Saturday, with or without you two. And you're talking about a team that is a 4 seed, Bri? When they're 6th in expenditure in the league? It's pretty good, Bri.
Possibly, and going to finish no worse than 4th and with a 12-6 SEC record.
Yes. By the way, I do want to say Tennessee, negative. If you want a look-see, I would encourage you to go over to our YouTube channel, look at the 3 names he punched into the clock. I'm not going to say them on the air. But if I were you, I would go over and look at what Dave is laying down over at on our YouTube channel in his comments. He's typed 3 names in. I'm not going to say them on the air. Texas A&M's number 7 in expenditure. They spent roughly $5 to $6 million. Now, here's what's interesting. And this is a belief in the industry. Their boosters love this buckyball guy, Matt. Now, I know it's been sort of mixed review as the season's gone along, but again, he's taken his team in the first year, and they've played a really exciting brand of basketball. The belief is that in year number two, they're going to be a big spender in this league under him. That doesn't surprise you, does it, Matt? And by the way, the word is, too, and this is not a recency bias thing either, the word is those people at A&M love loud wins like that blowout win over Kentucky the other night. What do you think of buckyball, Matt?
It's a fun, exciting brand of basketball, kind of like Kim Caldwell or the early Bruce Pearl years.
Yep.
Not sure it's what takes. I think you can be very good doing that. I don't think you can be great or contend for any kind of championships or like a Final Four run with it. But for what A&M is, and that the loud wins, you're certainly going to get a few of those a year because you just match up against the team. But no, he's done a really good job because he literally had to replace the entire roster.
That's exactly right.
And he was a really late hire in the cycle because Buzz Williams took that Maryland job kind of late.
That's exactly right.
So he basically redid the roster they took advantage of a SEC schedule early, but no, they're having a good year.
And Matt, this is really going to surprise you, but the fans at Maryland despise Buzz Williams already. I know that shocks you. Are you shocked by that, Matt? He's wearing thin on those poor people.
He wears thin everywhere he goes.
He never
kind of
stops.
resets his clock. He's actually a pretty good dude from all accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an absolute psycho there on the sidelines, but
Yeah.
he dresses nice. He just plays that muck it up junk style game that is it's just not fun to watch.
Yes.
But eventually he'll have Maryland being, a 5, 6, 7 seed that he kind of overcoaches onto the bubble every year.
So Dave has mentioned 3 names And if you want to go check out the 3 names, it's over on the YouTube channel. And Dave's got good information. 3 guys I would watch. 2 of them were recruited by Tennessee last year. One of them has a Tennessee tie. Those are hints. One of them is somebody whose names come up frequently on this show. And one played kind of close to home. We're whispering down the lane here. So we're at the end of Tier 2, and that brings us to Vanderbilt, who spent approximately $5 million on their roster. The belief is that Vanderbilt's going to spend more money in the offseason. And, Matt, I would say Vanderbilt spending at number 8 in the league, I would say they've gotten a good bang for their buck, Matt. This guy can coach. And, by the way, Frankie Collins shutting it down after 9 games is one of the more disgraceful things we've seen in a while. In this off-putting, untoward NIL era, which really can get to you if you sit around and think about it. That cat just saying, I'm shutting it down at 9 games is kind of gross. And Sean Sinclair's right. There will be a myriad of coaches getting in line for his services next year and probably paying him high 6 figures, Matt, in order to do so, which is really disgusting.
It is, but those coaches, those programs won't be serious programs, though. Like, that's the balance.
Good point.
That'll kind of weed itself out. Like, serious programs that are trying to win big aren't going to fool with a guy like that.
Good point.
Kind of like the Boo Carter thing, and you just some guys are not worth it, regardless of how talented they are, and he certainly isn't worth the trouble because. I mean, he's bounced around every year. He's gone to a different school. So you kind of, it sucks for Vanderbilt, but that's kind of what you get in this era. You can have stuff like that happen. But Byington's done a great job there. They've obviously kind of tailed off here the last half of the league schedule, and they clearly peaked in January. But if they can keep that sophomore point guard from going pro, they'll be really good again next year.
Absolutely. Brian, Vanderbilt's got excellent prospects in both their basketball programs. They made excellent hires in both programs, Bri.
What's interesting is they've had a resurgence in football and both basketball teams, but their baseball is kind of going in the other direction.
Crash helmet. Crash helmet, Corbs.
The only sport they were good at, or it seemed like they cared about.
Hey, Corbsy, keep your crash helmet on, bro. You're going to need it when you get in SEC play. Oh! That guy's going to get his head rammed into a quarter panel. A la, like back in the day, like he's at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Here comes a Mongolian stomper now over from South Carolina's roster to do it. And Tojo Yamamoto with the mustard jar. Go! All right. So now we're into Tier 3. By the way, the belief is that those teams that in 1 through 8 are going to continue to spend highly in the sport. Each of these teams features, that first 8 features pretty stable situations. Like Matt was talking about Byington. Those boosters like him. They've been waiting for a coach like you to come into their lives. R.I.P. ZR. That's an all-time ZR classic. When he sung "Waiting for a Coach Like You to Come Into My Life." In honor of, let's see, who did he do that for? I want to say Bruce Pearl back in the day. I've been waiting. Do you remember that ZR classic, Bri? For a coach like you.
Yeah, I do. I think it might have been before Bruce Pearl, though.
I wonder who it was about. Was it about O'Neal? Was he singing "Waiting for a Coach Like You"?
God, I hope not.
Georgia's number 9, Matt. They've spent approximately $4 million on their roster. They bought 3 legitimate players in the portal, including Smurf, including Wilkinson. And by the way, I would keep Wilkinson's name handy dandy. And here's your tie. There's newest member of Tennessee's staff, or one of the newer members, has a great relationship with him. And Wilkinson is a proven Southeastern Conference player. And you are going to see the second half of the league serve as a feeder for the first half of the league. Matt, does that offend you? Does that offend you, Matt, that I would say that out loud? And do you find that to be an accurate statement? That the first half of the league will buy teams?
It's happening and not just basketball, but all these sports, Yep. Especially when you can see guys up close and kind of watch them against your team, you kind of know what you're getting.
There's two ways now we're recruiting players. There's the analytics way, which is you watch guys and then you look at the computer printouts and you look at who really ticks a lot of buttons for you, a lot of spots. And then the other way is I see you. And that's why you're going to continue to see, and it's a point we make today in the blog, over at tclub.team, like a 1,600-word, 1,800-word write-up on this very subject. And we'll get back to it at some point, but suffice it to say, the Georgias, the Auburns, Georgia spent $4 million this year. They're going to make the NCAA tourney, Matt. That ain't bad. And they're expected to spend in the $4 to $5 million range next year. But there are some guys on their roster they're going to have trouble keeping because the Habs are going to come after them. Which that would suck being a Georgia fan, Matt, wouldn't it? For that reason.
If you were a Georgia fan that really cared about basketball, yeah, it would.
Long as
I'm not sure there's a ton of those people.
That's exactly
as long as Kirby Smart's got that football program where he's got it.
Correct.
They'll be fine.
And they're spending big in baseball, too. They're about as active in the portal as any baseball program.
And it's about damn time. I remember asking Tony when he first got the job, I said, why aren't they more active in baseball? I said, they have all those kids. The way that industry is set up, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of prospects that go down there in those elite events and play as kids. Because they have all those ball fields. And he looked at me and he said, hell if I know. And I thought to myself, what if a guy like that ever got a job like that? Can you imagine, Matt, if a guy like that ever landed at a place like that? How much talent he could ring in? Whew. But they've got
to. Well, Wes Johnson's doing that.
That's exactly right. The guy they have now is pretty damn good. You took the words out of my mouth. We're seeing it. The Auburn situation is really interesting.
They lost on a grand slam yesterday.
Who dat?
Georgia. I think it was Western Carolina down to their last strike in the top of the ninth. Hit a go-ahead grand slam to beat them.
Do we?
A lot of SEC losses yesterday in baseball.
Do we or do we not, Matt, love these midweek games and how for these teams to get against these SEC teams, it's the seventh game of the World Series for them. It's a beautiful thing, man.
It does get that way at times. More the Tuesday games.
Yep.
My favorite thing about them is you have a team that maybe they hold on to a lead there late, and they bring in their Friday starter to close out the game because Tuesdays are usually kind of a throw day for them. Mm-hmm. They do their bull session in the ninth inning trying to close the game. I always think that's one of the funner parts of college baseball.
And is it fun for you?
More fun.
No, is it fun for you, Matt, to see Vanderbilt getting drugged like they are?
I always like seeing Tiny Tim team get beat. They had such a competitive advantage for about a decade. And he's just, I don't know, he's just not very likable. So I always enjoy seeing Vandy get humbled in the one sport they've been really good at.
Yep. There's a chatter, Bri, over on the chat room right now who goes by Jim Hunter. And he is really starving for attention today, Bri. Should we give him attention or ignore Jim Hunter? What should we do, Bri? You make the call. You're producing the show.
I always, if he wants attention, he should call the show.
I concur. Tony Jones on the other side. Hold your calls. We'll continue with more. Every call counts. Callers come first after this.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340 WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gouffon Moving and Storage are pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gouffon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gouffon.com. That's Gouffon.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gouffon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Start the new year with comfort and savings from Pipe Wrench Home Services. Tired of high energy bills and constant heating and AC repairs? Ready for a more efficient home? There's never been a better time to upgrade your comfort and take control of your energy costs. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. A new energy efficient system means lower bills, fewer breakdowns, and peace of mind for years to come. And with Pipe Wrench Home Services same-day service guarantee, you won't wait to start enjoying a more comfortable home. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. Schedule your free estimate today at pipewrench.com. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Hey, I'm Alan at We Ship Floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors we're liquidating. Supercore is the best waterproof floor with a lifetime warranty. Where are you going to find that anywhere else? Nowhere, let me tell you. $1.79, lifetime warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer and let's make a deal.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee Volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall. So, it's beautiful outside, right? And I'm going to go sit in the park this afternoon. I'm not going to lie to you. Not necessary, no need to lie. We log a lot of hours around here. And day like today, gosh, man, just to get outside and enjoy this beautiful day God's given us. Praise God. I want to remind you tomorrow, we're live at Calhoun's on the River. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. They're reopening the deck after the winter time. And remember, it's enclosed as well, but tomorrow it's going to be like 80 degrees, guys. Brian, this weather, is the weather any good, Bri? You tell me, Bri, is the weather any good?
Yeah, it's fantastic given what it was about a month ago.
It's phenomenal.
We've been rewarded.
Phenomenal. I meant to say this about Tennessee's basketball team, then I'll go to the phones. And by the way, Derek Owings retweeted what the Tennessee eating coach is serving to the football players. And I'm wondering if they could use a dad bod on their team in any capacity. Did you guys see that spread that they're eating? The lamb and the steak and the veal and the finest cuts and the crab legs, Matt, like in unbelievable supply. I mean, the opulence. This eating coach is bringing it to the table. It's phenomenal. I just want to shout out our new eating coach.
If G-Mac's putting on weight, you know she's doing her job. Whoever's doing their job.
Well, all I can do.
Phenomenally, by the way.
All I can do is picture G-Mac laying there sleeping after getting a belly full of that. And I want you to picture that. I want you to close your eyes and just picture this for a second. Picture that young man growing from a tall, skinny, boyish lad into the physical specimen he is in the process of becoming. Like that old Rolling Stones record, Metamorphosis. He's metamorphosizing right before our very eyes. Right before our very eyes. Matt, when you think of G-Mac growing, does that make you smile? Under the auspices of this new eating coach and Derek Owings, who Joshy Boy Ward, who's a good soul, said is taking no prisoners inside Josh Heupel's organization, as I channel my inner Canadian because we're in the NHL. This is the draft time. We're in the draft period for them. Trade deadline period for them. So inside Josh Heupel's organization, what did the great Josh Ward say about him? Brian Hartman. Love the great Josh Ward, by the way. What did he say about him?
He just said that Josh Heupel has given Derek Owings autonomy.
The fabric and the fabric of his organization. And what did Watson Brown, before we go to the phones, what did Watson, because Tony Jones is going to join us coming up in 20 minutes. What did Watson Brown tell us about these organizations? That strength coach
the strength coach is the most important coach on the staff.
Brian Hartman
because they spend so much more time with them than any other coach.
Mm-hmm. You wonder why Brian Hartman's an excellent interviewer when you listen to him? Because he listens. Youngsters out there, anybody who wants to host a podcast, do what you're going to do. You want to learn how to interview people, you got to listen. It's the most important skill in interviewing. No listen, no chance. It's fun to walk in with a series of 10 questions on a paper. It's great. I'm all for show prep. But you got to listen. Brian listens. Watson Brown said that. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. We got our village idiot out of the way, so maybe we'll get a couple of great calls in here. And let's start with our first caller. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Yes, this is Atticus.
Atticus, welcome in, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good to talk to you.
Yeah, and I'm hoping our basketball team finishes strong. I think if Mint can get healthy, who knows what could happen. I don't know if you guys, a couple weeks ago, I pulled up, I thought it was a political podcast, but Ted Cruz was interviewing Bruce Pearl. I don't know if any of you guys got to listen to that interview. It was interesting. They talked a little bit about the NIL, and then they talked a lot about basketball and Israel, of course. But it was interesting when I listened to that interview. Bruce Pearl said, as a young coach, someone older came to him, and they said, an older coach came to him, and they said, Bruce, if you want to be really, really good, a really, really good coach, they said, learn how to coach defense. But then they told Bruce, and this is what Bruce Pearl said, they said, if you want to be a great, great coach, make Final Fours, you have to learn how to coach offense. And I thought that was interesting, because most coaches talk so much about defense, but Bruce Pearl said the great, great coaches learn how to coach offense. And I just thought that was interesting. And
what does that mean to you? Like, because obviously you're drawing a parallel with Barnesy. So what does that mean to you?
Well, I like Barnes, but I tell you this: when I watch Tennessee play, it's just a struggle. I did something that I haven't done in about 20 years in mid-January, and I pulled up my hometown team where I grew up, the Charlotte Hornets. And I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but something is brewing in Charlotte. The top 3-point shooters since January in the NBA are Knipple, Miller, and then LaMelo Ball.
Yep.
I call him Doodle Pad.
Yep.
He looks like a 6-year-old doodled all over his body.
He's a nut, man. He's not a he's just not a serious person. But your point is well taken. Knipple, the addition of him, and just finishing in the dregs of society as they've hit on a couple of picks. And if you can keep the ball guys, they whacked the Sixers a couple weeks ago by like 45 points, but they've been mowing some people down here the last few weeks now, hitting shots. Well, you're really onto something there.
Yeah, they beat Boston last night in Boston
on
a one-day turnaround. They were there at 5:00 in the morning. They beat them by 29.
Yes.
And since January, they've got wins against Oklahoma City, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Spurs. They're on a 10-game road winning streak right now.
Isn't that incredible? A team that's lost and lost and lost and lost and lost Good for Grant Williams, man. I'm glad he's with an organization that's playing well.
Well, I pulled him up. What's amazing about him?
Yep.
He's 6'7", and at Tennessee, when he needed a bucket, he went inside.
Yes.
He goes to the NBA, and basically he plays hard defense, but he's a spot-up three-point shooter, and he's shooting about 37-38% from the three. And that's when he's made himself into the NBA.
Yeah, he reinvented himself. He had to, because at 6'7", there's no way you're getting a shot off. Him at 6'7", playing in the NBA would be like, Matt, what that kid that transferred from Vanderbilt by way of James Madison, Carey for us is, Matt. He wouldn't be able to play down low in the NBA, Matt. They would swat his stuff back. It would look just like Jalen Carey. He had to reinvent himself.
Kind of having a similar pro career as Dale Ellis, who was an inside player at Tennessee and was one of the first kind of three-point specialists in the NBA.
Yeah, in fact, if you look at
it's really cool to see Grant carve that role out as kind of a role player, which you kind of knew he would.
Yep.
Because he, just his makeup, that like he'd be willing to do that, and he's kind of thrived.
And I would say Grant's probably more like 6'5", 6'6", than 6'7", really, which is really even more remarkable that he was able to do what he did in the SEC. But he was gifted with a lot of rear end, something God gave me very little of. In fact, somebody told me one time I took no acetol, which is apparently a product out there when I was a kid. I didn't know, but still suffering the after effects of it. Atticus talks about Bruce Pearl talking about his epiphany, Matt, was that it was on the offensive end. That can go one of two ways, though, Atticus, because Pearl's had some teams that he gave way too much offensive freedom to. A couple of his really talented teams a couple years ago before they went to the Final Four. Matt, what was that one team we used to laugh at? They had that crazy point guard, and they had those two high NBA draft picks, and I want to say Miami blew them out, like in the second round of the tourney. What was that guy's name, Matt? Those two crazy guards he had. Do you remember?
Oh, Wendell Green. Wendell Green.
P.D. Johnson.
And who? P.D. Johnson. Yeah, K.D. Johnson. See, Atticus, I think it cuts both ways because Barnes will not get involved with not serious players, but Bruce Pearl will. So I think it cuts both ways.
Well, it may cut both ways, but I tell you this: back when we had Chris Lawson and Juwan Williams, and some of those games, where they would just go off, and for our fans are getting tired. That's all I can say.
Are you getting tired of Barnes? Are you getting tired of the Barnes ball approach? You can say it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, the Steelers just moved on from Mike Tomlin. The Buffalo Bills just moved on from their coach.
Yes.
The Ravens moved on from their coach.
Well, that's an interesting analogy.
And sometimes you have to shake it up a little bit. And listen, they need to keep Barnes unless they have someone lined up that's a home run hire that they don't have to worry about. They should keep Barnes. But if they can have someone who'd be willing to come in that there's very little downside to, I think at some point you gotta reinvent yourself a little bit. I mean,
thank you.
You look at your Eagles got rid of Reed. And
you're
they've
right.
won 2 Super Bowls since.
You're exactly right. And Andy Reid was excellent. He was like a Rick Barnes before he went to Kansas City. That's a pretty. I gotta say to you, that's a pretty interesting phone call. I appreciate you. Now I'm not advocating doing that because I love me some Rick Barnes, but it is an interesting phone call. And he says every once in a while you gotta shake it up. Nega Dave would say he's right. There are some people out there that want to shake it up. Hey Brian, I've got a caller here reporting something, or somebody posting over on YouTube. The comments are coming in rather quickly here. Apparently, Prawl from the Lady Vols did not make the trip to the tournament with the Lady Vols. Can you look this up, Bri? And see if this is accurate.
I saw somewhere there she might be out tonight.
Apparently, she started following the Ole Miss coach over on X. This is Ken Boyd, who has commented and follows the Lady Vols pretty closely. Can you see if that's an accurate statement? Because if it is, it's really interesting. Prawl is a pretty nice player, right, Bri? She's one of their key players this year, yes?
She's she's in the regular rotation.
Yeah. Queen Kimmy's leaking oil right now, Matt. She's leaking oil.
That boat's got some leaks.
Danny White's comments yesterday about that are really strange. You know, Danny needs to text a buddy sometimes. He really does. And Keith Whitley, I think, said it best, and Danny White would be well averse to learn this. You say it best when you say nothing at all, Dr. Danny. But let's go back to our phones. I mean, this Lady Vol thing, I jumped on like 5 weeks ago knowing that it was going to be, I mean, admittedly, I'm a guy that likes the drama. I like it. They have really been entertaining here. I mean, not for good reasons, but at least I'm keeping it 100 with you. They've been really entertaining. This Kim Caldwell experiment has been really entertaining. Let's go to the phones. Hello and welcome in to our next call. You're on the air.
Am I on?
Bang!
Hey, man, boy Billy from Harriman.
Hey, William. How you doing, William?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. You talking about this eating coach? Sound like this eating coach was elite, hungry hippo player as a youth. You know what I mean, bro?
Matt, did you see the spread online, how good that food looked?
Yeah, I did. Which I had always kind of assumed that was always the case, but apparently not.
Oh, I mean, boy, Billy, I can just picture G-Mac getting a belly full of that, man.
From Simpson's Meats, right?
Oh, can you picture boy Billy G-Mac getting a belly full of that?
And the only thing he was missing was I don't know, head-sized bowl of Count Chocolate. You know what I mean, bro?
Oh, you listen to me. So when I was a teenager, Count Chocolate was my go-to. I would do a Jethro Bodine size bowl, like a big old mixing bowl. In one sitting,
drum.
I would take like a steel drum.
Drum.
I would take a gallon of milk, my own gallon, 3/4 of a big, huge mixing bowl, take Count Chocolate, one box, and just dump it, a family-sized box, and eat that when I was 17. I don't even know how many calories that was or what I was doing to my cells at that point, but boy, Billy, I was bringing it to the table, man.
Hey, too many calories ain't enough calories, bro.
Says G-Mac.
Speaking of the eating and the trends, man, I thought I had very little value to add to today's show, but you got me thinking here, man. Eating foods like that, man. I went in and got me a colonoscopy the other day, and they had to cut a bunch of crap out of me, bro. They didn't expect to, but it's kind of preventive. Say it might have saved me some colon cancer. So I just want to give a PSA to all my boys out there, middle age. Hey, don't be afraid of that preventive medicine. Might save your life one day, 5-10 years down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that is so true. Men know there's something wrong with their engine, and they think by ignoring it, it's going to make it go away. In this era, I was talking to the late great Mike Carver's son, who's a gastroenterologist doctor, and he lives over in the Carolinas. Listens to the show, and I said to him, "Man, that's got to be a tough thing." He said, "Tony, the toughest thing about it is I'm in an area of medicine where it's totally preventable, but guys, particularly men, will not go and get colonoscopies." Now, my mother passed away from that 30 years ago, so I get them every 5 years, and it's not pleasant. But it's something I do just because I value being here. So
shout out, yeah,
man.
I just want to let everybody know what I'm into tonight, man.
Yep.
Region basketball game tonight. Farragut versus Bearden for the region title.
Let's go.
Bearden's got one of the best teams I've seen in a while. 34-1.
Let's go.
They got this awesome guard, Justin Nordine or whatever, going to the Naval Academy. Guy is a hooper, man. I mean, one of the best. He's probably the best player I've seen personally since I was having to guard Lee Humphrey back in the day at Maryville.
When you were, where did you play? Did you play at Bearden or Farragut?
I played at Farragut High School in West Knox.
Who do you like tonight? in the Beard and Farragut matchup?
Beard minus 22.5.
So they're going to roll them like a joint cigarette?
Hey, man, Farragut's the second best team in the area, they say. But every time Bearden plays them, it's 20, 30 plus, man.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem with that deal is that when you run up against a team that's just better than you, they have to really have especially at that level, they have to really have a bad night for you to get through them. Now, let's talk about Lee Humphrey when you saw him. At the time, did you know that was a mistake when we took Dennis Grindstaff instead of him?
Well, I didn't know all that, man, because I was playing against him. So, I mean, I was like, I wasn't following, recruits and stuff like that. I was in the games, man. But, I mean, I had to guard that sucker, man. I mean, he's a tough guard, I'll tell you that.
You knew it? You knew he was going to go to Florida and have success?
I didn't know he was that good, to be honest. I just knew, dang, he's good. And, man, I mean, we beat him a couple times. They beat us, but, I mean, like, it was tough guard, man.
The thing that's interesting about basketball in particular is that he was really, really, really good at Florida in Donovan's offense and in that system, and because they called open shots for him. Matt, if he would have come here and he would have played, Matt, for early or a late Buzz Peterson and then into early Bruce Pearl, what kind of player you think he would have been here, Matt? Lee Humphrey.
He'd be similar to kind of Chris Lofton, just maybe not quite as good as Lofton. I mean, Lofton was a little bit better as a shooter and a much better all-around player. But, I mean, they'd be kind of similar. It's hard. They kind of were the same thing in a lot of ways, so it would have been hard to carve out a role, especially when you throw in Juwan Smith, who was a really, really good as well.
Yep.
Outside shooter. So, I mean, was it a miss? Yes. And he thrived down there in Gainesville playing with all those pros.
Yes.
He got plenty of open looks, really helped them spread the floor, and was key to those back-to-back titles.
Place Kicker 22 says, shout out to my Farragut, fellow Farragut Hooper. He said, I'm on Bearden tonight, minus 22.5. You guys are too much for me now. That's hilarious.
I know, we know what it is. Yep.
So this kid going to Navy is the truth? Is that what you're saying? Shout him out again.
Justin Nordin, I think is how you say it. Nordin. I don't know how it's Nordin. Hey, man, I seen him play, and he does it all, man. Dribbles the ball, attacks, talks on defense, helps, comes cover stuff, shoots threes. I mean, he's the real deal, man. He had 30. Last time they played Farragut, he had 30.
Sugar.
I know.
You're the man, brother. Boy Billy, anything else you'd care to add here? We did the eating coach. We did a colonoscopy. We're doing some high school ball. I mean, you're random billing me over here, man.
Well, all my listeners and all my fans out there, look for on the blog in the next couple of weeks, Boy Billy's Breakdowns coming to you live hot off the press.
Thank you, my friend, over at tclub.team. Yeah, Boy Billy's been invited to get into the blogging world because I like him. He's got something to say. And, well, I find talent. That's what we do here. I'm like a talent scout. Speaking of which, Tony Jones. Guys, you cannot not talk to Tony Jones and not smile. Whatever I'm trying to say, Matt. Isn't that correct? Have you ever talked to Tony Jones, Matt, and not smiled? Talk to me here, Dixon.
No, not really. He always kind of brings some energy and a fun interview, brings up some great topics. He's a real sportsman, as you say.
Yes.
Can talk about just about any sport.
Yes.
Always has great stories.
Yes.
No, I love it when you have T. Jones live on.
His best story is about that Memphis game and the Tubs. Do you remember it, Matt?
Do I remember it? I think about that probably once a month, easily.
Share with the living listener Tony.
Never forget
This is
that.
the game of the century down there. Share with us what Tony shared with us.
Yeah, the 1-2 Tennessee Memphis game of the century, biggest game in the state's history, and Earl and Judy Brown, the fans who sit first row behind home plate at every baseball game. They were at that Memphis game, and he had some kind of medical emergency where they had to take him to I think they took him to the hospital, but or whatever.
In the arena.
Maybe it was in the arena, but they had blood pressure, do all the stuff on him, and somehow he fought his way out of there to celebrate with the team kind of post game, and he apparently didn't put all of his clothes back on. He was out there celebrating in a wife beater.
He had a wife beater on.
I would like to see visual evidence of that. That would be a hilarious.
Tony said he had a wife beater T-shirt on with the IV thing. He just basically got up and ran from the table and had the little IV thing sticking out. At the end of it, he just got up and rose and just said, "I'm not missing this." It's the most next level thing ever. Tony Jones on the other side, he doing good. And we're going to celebrate with him because he's friend of the show, friend of us, friend of humanity after this.
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway.
And that's a good dude right there, okay? Alan at We Ship Floors is a good dude as we continue.
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors we're liquidating. Supercore is the best waterproof floor with a lifetime warranty. Where are you going to find that anywhere else? Nowhere, let me tell you. $1.79, lifetime warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer and let's make a deal.
You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contract. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest. Finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
Tony Jones makes it better. And when I see that Tony's had success, we it's like Walker's painting. We run, we don't walk to get him on the air. And we don't get him on the air anyway because we love him. I was telling Matt Dixon before he went to our timeout that Tony has never, ever, I've never, ever interfaced with him and didn't smile. Ever. Like ever. And T, congratulations on your success and your championship over at Johnson. Now you're awaiting what's going to happen in the tournament and where you're going to be and all that. But just a word about your success, man. Congratulations.
I really appreciate it, Tony. I mean, we obviously coming into a new program. You know, they had just went to NAIA, was Johnson Bible College. They changed it over to Johnson University. They wanted to make a commitment to athletics and make a name for themselves in Knoxville. Recruiting wise, wanted to be that non-Division I option, other than, not going to Tennessee, but what's that non-Division I option? And we've done a good job of bringing some people in, and we've been successful to get to the national tournament 2 years in a row is very, very gratifying. A lot of hard work. Me and Logan Sharp has done this thing together. And we're able to put Johnson University on the map and be well known in Knoxville, and we've got a following now.
Tony, not only have you had a part in that, but you were telling me off the air you're getting a chance to teach right now. There's a lot of sweet things going on in your life, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing that's going on in my life, though, Tony B, is I got a 2-year-old daughter, and she's just unbelievable. Her name is Lula Soleil Jones, and it's been a joy to kind of reset a little bit,
Yeah.
and she brings me joy each and every day. But I teach over at Lonsdale Elementary School. My daughter is a teacher over here also, so I get a chance to see her every day.
Wow.
I teach special education, and I enjoy being around we call them kiddos and friends, and I love being around them each and every day. And I think God put me on this earth to help grow and develop young people, and that's what I'm doing.
Tony, I just love you so much, man. I mean, Sonny smiling wherever smiling down on you. You know that. I mean, your father modeled that to you and was a giver, and you come from a family of givers, and I've met your family, and I'll never forget those days with my man Doc Ice. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, he is.
In beautiful, some of your friends from beautiful Detroit, and you just have a spirit about you, man. And I knew when you got involved in that Johnson deal, I knew it was going to work out. I just knew it, Tony. I mean, I don't know who's in charge of the hiring there, but between you and Coach Serrano, I mean, we're talking about good quality people here, man.
Yeah, Brandon Perry is our athletic director, and he's done a great job. And he's had a vision and he's had a model that he envisioned Johnson being athletically, and obviously the upper administration had to buy in and put some resources in the things that we do, and we've kind of made their decision worthwhile by putting up with results. Dave Serrano and the baseball team, they're number 5 in the country right now in AIA, and I mean he's out there doing his thing wholeheartedly. They made the national tournament last year, and obviously the way they're playing right now, they'll make their second consecutive berth. So it's some good things happening at Johnson University for all the listeners out there. Hey, take hold, Johnson University out on Chapman Highway, NAIA school, beautiful campus, beautiful facilities, and it's a place that if your young son or daughter likes to continue their education in a Christian environment, that's the place to do it.
And Tony, you were shouting. Now we were talking off the air. You get a chance weekly, right, to keep out there and keep doing what you're doing with the great Mark Packer, and you're on that panel that includes Austin Price, one of the characters of all time, and he's a character, and then my man Swain, who breaks it down scientifically. And you were telling me you're really impressed with the range of knowledge that Swaney has. My man Swaney, he's a lot like you are, Tony. He's a sportsman. You guys love sports. You watch them all, T.
No question. I mean, when they go to different segments, especially, doing football recruiting and things of that nature, and the Joey Aguilar thing, and then the Lady Vols, and, our shtick is, we cover the University of Tennessee athletics and the Southeastern Conference, and that means every sport. And you mentioned Jason. Jason is a very knowledgeable person.
Yes.
I'm obviously the basketball guy, the expert on there.
Yes.
But sometimes he come with a take and have basketball lingo and terminology that surprises me a little bit. So we have a lot of fun on that show, and obviously Mark Packer's done a great job. He's a legend in Knoxville as it pertains to being an on-air talent.
Well, like in your words, right? Because I say things like in Philly terms, like a coffee and things like things will slip out of my mouth, And like you say, like the nuances, that's one of my favorite Tony Jones-isms. I love when you say nuance. And I remember back in the day, T, when you were coaching, and I would talk to you, over at UT, and you were you're not going to believe this pull, but I'm going to pull it out anyway. You were doing that Rosetta Stone thing, and you would call me an habla español to me. That's when I knew you were a maniac. Do you remember your Rosetta Stone phase? Yes or no?
Yeah. No, definitely I remember that.
And you would go, mi habla, me, yo soy Antonio Jones. I was like, this guy's nuts, man. This guy's a maniac. See, AT, you've come back here and have made this your home. And you know, a lot of coaches end up settling here. Dave Serrano told me when he was finishing up out on the left coast. He said, Tony, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to live here. And I said, really?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it is about our community that calls you guys back home here?
It's just a friendly down home type atmosphere. It gives you a little bit of a city ambiance, but it's down home and folksy. And it's no question, as far as sports is concerned, it's the best sports market, it definitely in Tennessee and one in the region and maybe nationwide.
T, like the other night, okay, after the South Carolina game, and I mean that poor South Carolina team, they, if they're trying to win, they got a funny way of showing it. That roster they're putting on the floor. We had a 75-minute call-in show after that game. I told Maury Hanks, I said, Maury, I don't know that we'll get a phone call. Me and Brian and Maury, right before we started, I said, I don't know, we're getting a phone call after this game. And we were on for 75 minutes. I mean,
wow.
We got people that are sick with it here, Tony.
Well, they are. And I listen to you after the football games, and not as much after the basketball games
because you're busy.
We may be playing and things of that nature. But to get back to South Carolina, Lamar Parrish is, he's struggling there, and I don't know if they're going to make a change or not. But the keys of victory that I put forth on Sunday when we were talking about the South Carolina game was to pound the offensive glass, and that's what Tennessee did. Another key was to enter the ball inside, especially with Nate not being available. You have to go inside to JP. You have to go inside to Felix. I mean, Dwayne Brown and Jalen, and that's what they did. All those points in the paint, it was just unbelievable. And then they go to the offensive glass so hard. Obviously, they lead the nation in rebounding. This is a very physical and tough team. Unfortunately, they've lost some leads that they should have secured victories in. But if Nate comes back healthy, this is a team that can do some damage in the SEC tournament and in the NCAA tournament.
Hey, Tone, I don't know what their stomach is in terms of amen. I don't know what their stomach is for him playing Saturday, because if it were me, and I think they're thinking this way. Now, he might go to them Friday and say, hey, I really, really, really want to play. But
right.
T, if that was me, I think I'm sitting him Saturday. I think I can win that game without him. And then he gets a week and a half to get off his feet, because he really needed a week and a half. He needs a week and a half off his feet, T.
Competitive kid. Yep. I got a chance to know him by going to the football games and tailgating with the basketball team. Very great, a great kid, well mannered, great family. His dad is going to have something to say about that. His dad was a former all-conference player at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan.
Let's go.
So he's going to have some say in that, and obviously Chad Newman, capable trainer at the University of Tennessee, is going to have something to say. And then Nate's going to have something to say. But if he thinks he can go, he's going to play, because that's the type of competitive kid he is.
Hey, Matt, am I crazy in saying that I would, even if the kid came to me Friday, I would say, no, man, you're going to stay off your feet for a week and a half. We need you in the big tournament. That's much where I'm leaning. Matt, what do you think? Matt Dixon.
Yeah, I wouldn't play him against Vandy. They basically would give him 2 weeks to get fully healthy. He's kind of got a couple of different little leg injuries. So yeah, I would probably rest him against Vandy unless he was 100% or really close to it, and there was no possibility of re-injuring or re-aggravating any of that.
Hey, T, you've been around some teams that have gone far in March that kind of weren't expected. Like, we've seen unexpected success around here. And this team here, people think there's a ceiling on them. But, the way this point guard all of a sudden is coming up with all these steals, and he's really settled into his role. The other night, he could have called his own number if he wanted to. But he was very, very, very happy to feed the post and basically to get out of the way and play defense. This Gillespie guy's really impressed me the last 3 weeks, the way his game has grown.
Yeah, good player, very good player.
Yep.
I didn't know he was from East Tennessee. Prior to me, watching him play and being around the team a little bit, but got Chris Lofton type range, and to be honest with you, I think if the basketball program had their brothers, they would have another point guard who was serviceable, who can make him play off the ball a little bit and have him coming off that floppy action, have him coming off those NASCAR cuts and not being the primary ball handler, because obviously that wears you down, it fatigues you, and in some instances I believe he gets tired at end of games. Turnovers in some of the games that they've had late, and then the undisciplined fouls on the 3-point shots that he has been committing is a product of fatigue also. But great player, good team, very, very strong front line, and that front line is going to have to carry him until if they want to do something special.
Tony, is that Auburn bunch making the tournament? What do you think?
They're
right on that line, man. They're right on that line.
I think it's questionable. I mean, they got to go play Alabama on Saturday, and if they lose that game, they're going to have to win at least 2 games in the SEC tournament to get in. And then, obviously, I go way back with Bruce Pearl and him making the statement about Miami of Ohio. I don't agree with that. Saying Miami of Ohio, if they don't win their conference tournament, they shouldn't get into the NCAA. I revert back to when we were at Milwaukee, and we got the job from Milwaukee. If we would have gone 30-0, and someone would have said, "Hey, they don't deserve to get in unless they win the Horizon League," we would have been shouting and hollering till the cows came home that we were deserving. So I don't agree with Bruce on that occurrence. Maybe he thinks that Miami may be a competitor of Auburn or getting into the tournament, but it's going to be a struggle. They still got work to do, Tony.
Oh, Matt, look, here's the deal. And guys, to my whole panel here, Matt and Brian, Pearl is a character, always has been a character. He's very opinionated on many things. He's not afraid to give his opinion. But, Matt, I vehemently disagree with him. I think the thing that's going to happen to major college basketball, and it's very sad, is that the tournament is slowly going to be taken over by the power teams, and it's going to lose its flavor. And I think those are arrogant comments that Tony just pointed out by Bruce Pearl, Matt. I think that's an arrogant high league comment to make about a Miami of Ohio team that's won all their games to this point, for crying out loud, Matt.
Yeah, that's just a. Yeah, I disagree with it. Obviously, with his son's team and his former teams on the bubble, so it makes those comments really, really interesting. And I don't agree with it. But yeah, it's kind of sad that a lot of the mid majors and especially low majors are, just can't keep their roster. I think Belmont has like 3 or 4 former players that are starting at high major programs, and Belmont's really, really good this year. This is their best team post, Rick Byrd. They're kind of a dangerous team, but that Miami team, undefeated, I don't care how many close wins they have. And I mean, to win all those games is highly impressive, and they should absolutely be in the field regardless of what happens the rest of the way. That's a great story that has kind of gone under the radar and doesn't get talked about a lot because of, I guess, all the star power in this freshman class that's kind of headline everything.
Tony,
Hey, Coach,
yeah, go ahead.
I've seen projections that have perhaps Miami, Ohio, and Tennessee paired off together in the first round. How do you think a team like Miami of Ohio would match up with someone like Tennessee and vice versa?
It'd be a struggle for Miami of Ohio to beat a team like Tennessee because just all the size and athleticism. Miami of Ohio doesn't see that type of size and athleticism in the Mid-American Conference. Obviously, I coached in that conference for a number of years when I was at the University of Toledo. But it's a very good team, very well coached. Travis Steele is a really good coach, and they got really good three-point shooting. And obviously, we all know, that's the equalizer, three-point shooting. I mean, if you're making shots, shoot a high percentage from three in these tournament games, anything could happen. But if that matchup does indeed occur, I would take Tennessee. But right now, I would have Miami at least as a 11 or 12 seed. Even if they lost their last game and then lost in the MAC tournament, they're still in the tournament. And talking about playing people, don't nobody want to play Miami. They probably tried to solicit high major games, but they don't want to play them because they knew the type of team they would be. So, don't say they haven't played anybody, but because I know I used to do scheduling. I'm sure they tried to play the big boys, but they didn't want to entertain playing against that type of team.
And the sad thing about BP is he knows that too.
Yes, he does.
And that's why you were laughing about it. I mean, one of my favorite things about Tony is Tony keeps it real. Tony brought up, I didn't bring it up, the whole thing about Pearl's comments the other day, because it's kind of like what on the women's side, the comments by Andrea Carter toward Tennessee's coach. Look, I mean, you got to keep it a hungy. She's just keeping it up. I mean, and you know what, Kim Caldwell, I respect the hell out of Kim Caldwell going before a microphone and saying, "Hey, she played here, she gets a vote."
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's hard. You got criticized. It's hard to get criticized, right?
Yep, it's hard to get criticized. No question about it.
Yes.
But it's a big boy business, and hey, that's what you signed up for. And I think Kim will. She understands that, and it's all about results, especially the Lady Vols. That's all about results.
Oh yeah, no question. AT, on the way out, when will you find out who you're playing, and how can we follow along? Talk to me.
Okay. The selection show is tonight at 7:00. It's streamed on YouTube and the NAIA National Broadcast and Radio Network. We'll know who we play and where we play. And it's 64 teams in the NAIA tournament.
Yes.
And it's at campus sites, and there's 16 of those campus sites. And the 16 winners, you'll play 2 games, Friday and Saturday, next Friday and next Saturday if you advance. And then those 16 teams go to Kansas City. It's a little bit like the Final Four, but it's 16 teams go there instead of 4. And then those 16 teams battle it out for the NAIA National Championship. And, if we can pull off 2 games wherever we go and to get to Kansas City, boy, that'll be something that we will be very excited about.
Let's GEAUX, my friend. I love every minute of that. I've loved every minute of having you on. AT, if you're around, I know you're going to be busy, but Saturday after the Vanderbilt game, if you want to pop on our post game, we'd love to have you, man.
No doubt.
Are you in?
What the game? I'll be at the game.
Okay.
I'll be at the game. So I can shoot on with you.
All right, I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna text you.
We taping the show. We taping the show on Saturday this week at 8:00. So I'll have a window where I can bounce on with you.
What time's our game end, Bri? The Tennessee game.
1:00.
It's on at 1.
It's a 2:00 start, so it'll end probably between 4 and 4:15.
Hey, you got to forgive Tony. He's still in Detroit time. He's up there at Cobo Hall. He's back there watching. Who were a couple of the great wrestlers back in the day, Tony, you grew up watching?
The Bruiser.
Dick the Bruiser. I love the original Chic now. Come on.
Bobo Brazil.
And the Cocoa Butt.
Wild Bull Curry.
Tony, you're my man. Cobo Hall is incredible. And Tony, I love you. Thank you.
All right. Take care, guys.
I never, guys. Hey, listen. I told you. Smiles are guaranteed with him. And I'm Matt, does a guy make you smile, make you laugh? The guy's rattling off some old school wrestlers.
Yeah, he's a great character that I'm glad is in the inner circle of this show and involved in Tennessee athletics.
Amen. And went out of his way to kind of poke Pearl there. Did you guys notice that? I didn't bring it up. Did I bring that up, guys? I'm being a good boy over here. Stephen Pearl deal. Let's see. I'm not over on VIP. I'd take the under. I'm going to take the under on that one. But that's just me. What do I know? Some would say not very much. And maybe they'd be right. But we're going to do this. I'm getting ready to turn it over to the playbook with William Pattison. I don't have a call right now, so we might have a short overtime segment, or we might have a long one. I guess it depends on the phone activity and what my panel here, my esteemed panel, wants to mention that has been brought up. And I asked both of them how the show has gone today. I feel like we had a really informative, very good hour number one. Maybe we can talk a little more about the bottom of the league, NIL-wise, and where it is. But check us out at tclub.team. Check the blog out today at tclub.team. Matt's got great stuff. Bri contributes. We all do. We all do what we do. The playbook with William Pattison on the way next.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
All right, so my pizza's cooking upstairs. Hey, guys, last night, Laura trusted me to make our baked spaghetti. You guys ready for a story? So she went golfing with my son yesterday. And she says to me, "Are you going to be around?" And I said, "Well, I guess I am." She said, "If you're around, we'll make some baked spaghetti and you need to finish it." And I said, "Okay." Now, Matt, have you ever had baked spaghetti? You or Brian? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's the favorite thing my wife makes. Yeah,
it's any kind of spaghetti I'm down with.
It is the ish, and Laura absolutely has it down. I mean, this is coming from a padon, okay? So she gives me instructions. Let me read the instructions to you. Hang on, let me look at the instructions here. By the way, I'm jumping on with Dubsy today at 3:20 p.m. Those of you that are around your dial over on Fan Run Radio. I just now saw the text from him that he sent at 12:25. But yeah, we'll be on with Dubsy today. It was great having Bob Baskerville on last week. I absolutely love me some Tony Jones. Can you believe that this Prawl lady is going to leave, the Lady of All Team Bride? Do you think that's true? The rumor that's out there? I just want to throw that out. I have no idea if that's true or not.
These are just unprecedented times for a once proud program, and things are happening that you would never envision.
Yeah. And I realize it is a distraction-filled time. And again, I go out of my way to give her a lot of credit for the way she answered the Andrea Carter thing, because she could have gotten ugly about it. And she said, "Look," she said, "you think I'm happy about this? You think I go home like at night proud of myself or pleased with what we're doing?" Matt, I don't know, Matt Dixon, when you lose that many games in a row, they really need to win this game tonight because they're going to get whacked tomorrow by Texas. Or maybe they beat Texas. They played Texas well. Maybe they can go down there and win 2 games in a row, man, and just get the taste of this out of their mouth. But this thing, Matt, this does not feel good. And I know you only follow it in a very like surface level way, if at all. But even from 10,000 feet, it doesn't feel good, does it? I mean, it's weird. You had somebody quit 2 days ago, and then you have somebody that just started following another coach in the league who, Kim Caldwell, by the way, has massive heat with Ole Miss's coach. And before this, she had massive heat with her. That's why she didn't shake her hand. And to the people that are listening on Twitter Spaces, they know the drill on that.
That's been tampered with.
That
coach is tampering with.
Sure.
But so, but no, it's just been a huge struggle, just a total disaster year in year 2 after a kind of overachieved in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got a roster and team that didn't gel, doesn't fit what she wants to do. Obviously, a lot of infighting and internal issues that get exposed and amplified when you have this much losing.
Oh, hey, Lulu.
So, but she's only, I think you had somebody on earlier in the week. She's only been a head coach at this level for just a number of years. So she's still a very young coach that's got a lot of learning to do and a lot of growing. But yeah, this year's been just a total disaster from just about every aspect.
Let's put it this way. If she pulls it out and is still here after next year, I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. I've done this for a long time. She's going to have to do a complete 180. Okay? Like, she's going to have to look in the mirror and go, okay, I got to completely change. Now, she might be able to do it. She might be able to do it. But that is what it's going to take. It's going to take a radically different approach by her, or she's going to get fired. She's got about zero chance. And I know you're going to say, well, she's got $1 million player coming in. She got like zero chance if she doesn't change. And I know very little about her sport other than this. In her league, Tennessee's one of 5 teams or 6 teams that are trying to win. Now, in the men's side, there's about 8 teams that are trying to win. But if you go read the blog today, there's probably 10 or 12 that are trying to win. Because there's a couple of the teams that are going to spend to try to get into that top 8. But, Georgia this year spent like to the 10 or 11 range. I'm not looking at it right now because I wanted to tell you my baked spaghetti story. Then we'll go to the phones. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and if the UT eating coach is listening, do you guys know the UT eating coach's name? I should know that. I don't have it in front of me.
It's a female, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lady.
I think,
yeah.
But I don't know her name.
Laura said to me today, because Laura has a nutrition background and a master's degree in it. She said it's a disgrace that you guys refer to her as an eating coach. But here's what Laura told me last night. Set the timer for 50 minutes. Okay? When you take out after 50 minutes, take the foil off the spaghetti. It's like in a baking sheet. Add the mozzarella, add the Parmesan cheese on top and the Italian seasoning, and put it back in the oven for 15 minutes. And so, like 2 hours later, she comes back with Anthony, and they're super hungry, okay? And I'm super hungry at that point. And I say to my sweetheart when she comes in the door, I say, did you want me to turn the oven back on? And she said, well, of course. Matt, do you think I turned the oven back on?
It doesn't sound like it, no.
No, of course I didn't, because the instructions didn't say that, Laura. Brian, do you see in the instructions where it says turn the oven back on when it says put him back in the oven for 15 minutes?
I was afraid that you were going to say that you left the oven on too long and it burned.
Yeah.
Or caught fire or something. That's what I was bracing for.
Yeah, that would have been that. Yeah, at least you didn't do that.
So
you didn't set the fire alarm off.
I put the tinfoil back on it, and I put it back in the oven, and we discovered something yesterday. And that's that I am a great cook with great instinct. She said, this tastes better than mine. I said, well, Lottie, freaking Dottie, we just discovered something. And what we discovered is that when you because she doesn't put the foil back on it. I put the foil back on it, put that thing down tight. David Lee Roth back in the day, ease the seat back. Put that thing down tight, ease the seat back, David Lee Roth. And it was delicious. So, Brian, I might deviate from my septum here, or I might not. What would you do, Brian, if you're me? Are you doing baked spaghetti, or are you doing the same old every day?
I would play to my strengths. Whatever I do best is what I would keep going to.
Matt?
I mean, if Laura said it tastes better, then I'd kind of try that again.
No. What I'm saying is, would you, if you're me today, I'm talking about my lunch right now. I want you to be my eating coach.
Oh no, yeah, you do the same thing. Yeah, if you change that thing up, that might mess up your senses, and you don't know. Who knows where you'd go from there?
I might wake up tomorrow, Matt, like factually making sense, having good cogent points on here, getting in and out of breaks quickly, getting the calls, following a clock. I guess being a respected broadcaster.
There's zero chance you do that, especially on remote at Calhoun's. Zero chance of you being able to manage, having good clock and game management.
Where we are giving away MVP tickets tomorrow at Calhoun's. It's unbelievable, Andy. This Javoy character is a real comedian. He said Basilio probably grated frozen yogurt onto his spaghetti. Absolute comedian. Everybody's a comedian out there. Everybody. Shout out to my friends at VIP Play. Then we go to our phones because they sponsor our segment today. We've got 3 people that want to talk. Matt, of the 3, how many phone calls will be worth it, in your humble opinion? Not that we don't know who they are. It's blind draw.
I'd say 2 of them at least.
All right. It's ladies' choice, and it's blind draw. VIP Play welcome bonus. You bet $20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Now, my Flyers have the Strangers tonight, and they're going to exchange glances, and the Flyers are going to win again. They're going to win like their 5th game in a row, and here's why. Because they were sellers. They're going to be sellers at the deadline. They're toggling between a playoff spot or not, and like any loser organization, they're screwing up their draft pick. They're going to end up finishing like 15th instead of getting into the lottery, and they're going to win now that the season's over. See how it works? And you wonder why I'm jaded. The last Stanley Cup they won, I don't even know if we had like color photography back then. All the video that exists from that era is grainy. All we have is grainy video. It's unbelievable, Andy. But my friends at VIP Play want to remind you, I want you to bet on the Flyers tonight. They're going to win. Trust me. They're live. 200-plus leagues, live always, numerous bet types, props, options. Brian, the prawless Lady Vols. Not what you thought you heard me say. Prawless Lady Vols. Brian, when I say prawless, what am I referencing for those that just joined?
Well, Prawl is going to be out tonight for the Lady Vol Alabama SEC tournament game. It's the first game she's missed all year. She averages about 15 minutes a game and about 4 points per game. She's made 7 starts, so she's a regular rotation piece.
What's the number, Bri, in tonight's game, in your humble opinion? We already had a line earlier on the Farragut-Bearden game, which you cannot get over at VIP Play, by the way, which I want to say Boy Billy said it's like 18.5.
Yeah, I don't see a line. It's not listed where I normally go to see women's basketball lines, but I think the Lady Vols will be favored by probably 5 to 6 points is my guess.
Yep.
On a neutral floor.
Seymour Joe said, Brian, he does not care about hockey, okay, and as a comment. So he gets a 10-minute game misconduct from me.
Well,
I wiped his message out.
I don't care about hockey either, but
I wiped his message out. This is one of the longer live reads we've ever had, Seymour Joe, because you're a clown. And you get a 10-minute misconduct. So you're in the penalty box now for 10 minutes. Not a game misconduct. We might last longer than 10 minutes, but VIP Play live always, 200-plus leagues, numerous bet types, props options. If you have a bet in mind, reach out. If you want to get some action on the Lady Vols, reach out. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over. Located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet, we go back to our phones. On one of the few off days that our baseball Vols have this week, 5 games in 7 days is quite a commitment. And lovely Laura has answered my question. She said, you want to rip my baked spaghetti? You're getting this for lunch, Nick Saban. It ain't baked spaghetti. Go! McKay, Books, and Stench Matt has now entered the chat. Matt, did you like our discussion last week about the stench of McKay's? Because I was in there the other day. I was talking to a friend of mine who recently moved to Asheville. And he said there are certain... He said there are certain parts of Asheville. Brian, are you going over for the tournament this year in Asheville? You and Bino were doing that for several years?
I don't think so.
He said that there are certain parts of Asheville, Matt, that smell like certain people in McKay's. If you smell...
I can confirm. I actually can confirm that. It's Appalachian San Francisco.
What is it, Brian?
I call it Appalachian San Francisco.
That's actually a pretty spot on reference there, Brian. That's pretty good.
That's what I'm eating, y'all. It's a pizza wrap. It's a low-carb piece of bread. It is a 4-cheese blend, Mexican cheese. It's Botticelli pizza sauce with hot honey on it. And it is utterly freaking delicious. Brian, if you and Matt came over and I put Laura's baked spaghetti or my pizzas next to you, what are you eating?
Probably both of them.
That's a great answer.
Yeah, great answer. But definitely the baked spaghetti first.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. 15 minutes of that nonsense is enough. You're on the air. Hi.
How are my friends compatriots doing today?
Great call, number one. W. Lynn, welcome in.
Tony, I wish Laura got to know my Angel Allen, because what you just described about cooking instructions, I would go through that, and Ellen would give me the glare. Pat Summitt had a stare, Ellen had a glare, and the glare said, "You are a complete maroon." And she loved that term you use, maroon, because she was a big Maroon 5 fan. But I'd do stuff like that. I wouldn't turn the oven on.
No. She comes back in. I go, was I supposed to turn the oven back on? And Anthony goes like this to me. What do you think, Dad? And I said, well, I obviously thought no, because I didn't turn it on. And then we opened the oven, and because I put the foil back on it, it actually worked better, W. Lynn. I invented like a Reese's peanut butter cup in our house last night. I mean, it wasn't that.
Good for you.
I invented something.
And another thing, when I went through my after my heart procedure, I went through rehab. We had the group I was in, a dietitian. But I like the term eating coach, but they were called a dietitian. And I was thinking, these coaches used to have clinics where parents or adults could go. That eating coach ought to have a clinic. I'd pay for it. I need some help with what I'm eating. And
I agree with
some
that.
Weight.
That eating coach.
I'd go to that clinic.
That eating coach could really help us, all of us, W. Lynn. Really help us, all of us.
But, hey, Tony Jones, today, Tony, I had spiritual chills go up my back because my Angel Ellen was a special needs education teacher, and when he said that, and then my daughter got her master's degree from Johnson University.
Oh, wow.
Man, I had chills.
Wow.
Listening to him.
Wow.
I was wanting to know, is there any way they can get a home game for the first 2 rounds of the tournament?
Bri, how's that work? Do you know?
I don't, but I asked him about playing at home, and he said that they wouldn't be playing at home last night. So that's what I understood.
I was ready to make a road trip out there for a game. I'm fired up about it. I'll be keeping up with that.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony's great, man. Tony Jones is wonderful.
And he's exactly what you hear. He's not fake at all, man.
No, he isn't. And I met him early on when he was first here with Bruce Pearl, and me and my buddy Jeff said we entered school when Ernie and Bernie did, and he said, have a seat. He wanted to hear about the history of UT basketball. Ask us to sit down at his table and talk about it. And I thought, man, this guy's genuine, So, but yeah, I'm fired up about Tony Jones, man. I hope they do well in that tournament.
He had a W. Lynn, he had a clinic one time, right? When I met all his friends from Detroit.
Yeah.
And they say you can tell an awful lot about a person when you meet their friends. I think that's a fair thing to say in life, don't you? Having lived a few years.
I think that is good.
Yeah. His friends were absolutely next level. Absolutely next level.
That's great.
Just beautiful people. Just wonderful people. Great Detroit people, man. Great people.
That's good, and he is honoring his dad. His dad was a great man, and his dad's looking down on old Tony and his kids and everything, his family. I think that's a good thing.
Do you remember how Sonny passed away?
Was he shot?
He was doing delivery. He was delivering Meals on Wheels, and these thugs robbed him and killed him.
Yeah, I knew it was something violent.
Yes.
He was
that's
86
terrible.
years old, too,
86 years old, delivering Meals on Wheels. And these
Meals on Wheels.
And these absolute waste of space. Absolutely just the best of us meeting the worst of us.
Yeah. Well, Sonny's inspired a lot of people, I'm sure, to carry on. And he's up there where we all want to get, Tony. Old Sonny is.
Amen, brother.
And I was going to talk about basketball a little bit. This senior day thing you talked about yesterday, it's unbelievable when you look at those numbers.
It's sad.
I almost think before we ought to have senior day the way we always do, have the parents out there in a big deal, but maybe right before that, just have a little thing where they announce the current roster, because Nate Ament, he's not getting a senior day, but this is it for him. And everybody on that roster you never just kind of announce the roster for everybody.
W. Lynn, it's a really great idea. What they ought to do is have like a 10-bell salute thing and list the names of every player that played there in the last 5 years. Shout them all out, W. Lynn. Act like they're still seniors.
because I could see Nate Ament dressing out and playing just a couple of minutes just so he can play one last time at his college arena.
You're my main man, W. Lynn. I love you. I love your heart. And you are Hall of Fame in my book. We'll go back to our phones. About Asheville, let me make one thing clear. I love the fact that it is a cultural and musical haven. I love the fact that there's a lot of artsy people there because I'm sort of artsy myself and kind of footloose and fancy free and a little hippie-ish. So I wasn't cracking on that. But he said when you guys were talking about the odor of McKay's, he said there are people walking around here. Buddy, I mean, Rebel's been Rebel since I don't know when, and none of them want to take a shower, which I love every minute of. Because you know what, Matt? I've been known to go 3 days in between bathing. Does that surprise you, Matt?
No, because you've admitted it on air many times in the past.
What is wrong with me? Brian, you playing Ament Saturday?
If he feels 100% and feels like he can play, I'd have a hard time saying no.
That's what she said. Hello and welcome into our next call.
Hey, Tony, Parrot Head Vol from Kingsport.
Hey, Parrot Head Vol. Great to hear from you, brother. How's your website doing?
Do what?
How's your website doing?
I was doing great. In fact, that's why I wanted to call, because I got to spend some time with the great Tony Jones last weekend up here in Kingsport. That's where they have that AAC tournament. It's up here in Kingsport at the convention center.
That's fantastic.
And I covered that for the website. So the website got some nice hits as we covered that tournament and got some good pictures I tweeted out of Tony after they won that game.
Share your website
Saturday.
so people can see it, man.
Hey, man, TriCitySports.com is the website. We cover everything up here locally, local sports, mainly high school sports. We touch on college, as we did with that tournament, and also some UT stuff, NASCAR when it's up here, and HRA when it's up here. Appreciate you letting me plug that. But Tony's such a great guy. I want to tell you a story, Tony. My oldest son graduated from UT, got 2 degrees, undergraduate and master's. His undergraduate degree, he graduated, Tony, the same day, the same graduating ceremony that your daughter did. We were at the same ceremony there at that day. He graduated just last summer, moved to Detroit to start working with the GM. And so last year when Tony was here, I reached out to Tony, and Tony gave me his phone number, told me a lot about Detroit, where to get my kids set up there, even offered to meet us while we were in Detroit last summer to show us the city and to make sure we got him in a safe place. That's Tony Jones.
That's him. 100%. Not any errors, any pretense about him. I love the guy.
It was great. He helped us a whole lot, and so I got to spend some time with him this last week and told him where we set him up and everything, and he knew everything about the area. We talked a lot, so congratulations to him. But what a tournament run they had, Johnson. They were down 7 points, Tony, with 2 minutes to go in that championship game against a team that was ranked 6th in the country in NAI and came back and won, scored the last 8 points of the game. It was quite the game. And Tony does a great job. The coach, the head coach at Johnson, played for Tony at Alcoa. When Tony was the head coach at Alcoa, and he came back and hired him.
Yeah, isn't that a great story?
That's awesome. And Johnson's a really good place. You know, we cover that tournament here locally. We got a lot of local kids that go out and play for those schools, particularly Milligan, up in Pikeville. We've got kids up there too. So, I know Tony's going to be there every year, so it's a great chance for me just to spend a few minutes with him. But I didn't know that was his daughter. I got a picture of him holding his new little girl.
Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she just precious?
Yeah, unbelievable. I did not know that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm holding a girl like that, everybody thinks that's my granddaughter. I'm not, but
hey, that guy's virile and young. Hey, here's the thing about Tone that I meant to tell him, since I've shaved my head, Parrot Head Vol. It's time for him to join the nation. I saw a photo of him, or the thing Channel 6 did on their run. Hey, Tony, if you're still listening, brother, come on over. Let's have a ceremony, and you join the nation, brother. The nation, the bald nation, my man. Take the plunge.
Well, you and I aren't far from the same age, and I've got the exact opposite problem. I have to get mine cut about every 4 weeks. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. But
you damn bastard. Thank you, brother. Hey, it's great talking to you. Thank you, man.
Hey, man. Thank you, guys.
Love you,
See
brother. Love you, Steve. You're a good man. So many good people in our midst, y'all. And that is Tony. Hey, your daughter, a lot of people will tell you, hey, if your daughter's going to go up there to go to school, reach out to me, and then you never hear from them again. Tony's, hey, what happened with your daughter? And blah, 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 blah. Tony, take care of you. There was people talking about Jason Swain in the chat. And I said in there, Bri, that I absolutely love Jason Swain. I love him.
Who wouldn't?
That's exactly right. If you ever spend 10 minutes with Swaney, baby, and you don't walk away from that going, hey, this guy is just kind of... This guy played high-level Division I football, highly accomplished football player, and doesn't want his ass kissed. In the least. In fact, we'll talk to you more about you than you will ever talk to him about him. I love me some Jason Swain. Like love. Now, isn't he like on at the same time? I don't know. I don't worry about any of that. I don't worry about, I live my own life. Now, the Ainge guy, I can't let it go, can I, Matt? Can I leave a tender moment alone, Matt?
Very, very rarely.
Why did I have to say that? Because I'm going to go upstairs and Lars and say, why'd you have to say that? What's wrong with me? You know it? A lot. Back to our phones we go. Hi, you're on the air.
What's up, TB?
Hey, welcome in.
That's the hell, Joe.
Hey, Talkie Ho. Good to hear from you, brother.
You are a paisan.
Yes.
And you know how to cook. I'll just go ahead and tell you.
Interesting.
But us firemen know how to cook better than...
Oh, Talkie Ho, we had a fire hall in my... right near my house, like a mile from my house in Kennett Square. And anytime they would have their chicken cook-offs, their chili cook-offs, any of that stuff, we made it a point to support and then some. We would drop like $100 tip on our firemen there. That food was so freaking good. It's unbelievable, Andy.
Right. Well, let me tell you a little story.
All right.
1987, I played at Johnson Bible College.
Right.
We won the tournament. We went to Jimmy Swaggart University in Louisiana, played for the national championship. At the time, we were the NCAA. The next year, I went to Carson Newman, which was an NAIA, and all we heard the whole time was Kansas City Lights, because that's where the NAIA played. And I hope Coach Jones can get it done.
Talkie Ho, Joe, which did you enjoy playing at more, Carson Newman or over there at Johnson?
Well, both. I mean, it was great. I was in the transfer portal before there was transfer portal.
Nice.
It was 1987, 1988, 1990.
Yeah. Back then it was painful to transfer. It was painful back then, right?
Well, you just had to have your grades right. You could get it done.
Yes.
But, yeah, it was a good time. We didn't make it to Kansas City, but that's all we heard. That's all Coach Jones, the other Coach Jones at Carson Newman played the whole time, was Kansas City Lights when I was at Carson Newman.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it was
that
a great
is
time.
the goal. That is the goal in that deal. Kansas City, here we come.
Right. And so, I mean, when Tony Jones got on the radio, I just had to call in. I was like, well, what an experience at Johnson Bible College.
God bless you, man. That's two people that were touched by that interview. That's cool. I like hearing that.
Oh, yeah. So, great show. Love your show.
Thank you. You're the man.
See you, bud.
You're the man. Matt, that's 3 great calls in a row. Should we keep it going, Matt, or is this a good quitting time? Because we got 2 more.
That's up to you and Brian. That's above my pay grade.
I say on that note, we should leave the tender moment alone and just let it end on
Brian,
that touching story.
Come on. Let's let these idiots on YouTube vote. There's like 151 of them, and probably got about 10 likes, these morons. What do you takers over on YouTube have to say? You takers. You show you got some give, you got some taking. You show me you can take, you got some giving to do. And now you tell me that you're having my baby. Little George Michael. What song was that, Bri?
I
da, da, da,
honestly,
whoa, whoa,
one I don't
whoa,
listen
whoa,
to.
whoa, ba,
That's what song it was.
ba, ba. Somebody tell me, won't you tell me why I work so hard for you to give you money, Bob, to give you money. Were you a George Michael fan? Brian Hartman.
Not particularly, no.
Matt Diskin, how about you? You like any Wham music?
No, not really.
You guys don't like da 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 ba 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 da ba ba ba. You guys don't like that song? A 21-year-old kid wrote that. That's a great song. Ba na 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 da na 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 na. That's a really beautiful, wonderful song. Let's go and get our next call in. Huh? Brian making noise.
There's no need to ask if you want to take calls because you're going to anyway. So
damn. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Lane saying Muppet.
I said a da da.
See,
da,
if you
na,
listen,
na, na, na.
If you just listen.
I got one more call in, but Joshy Boy's got me inspired.
The small Joshy Boy, is that all he does now? Is the drive-by, stuff?
Yes.
Unreal. A once promising caller has resorted to the small guy tactics.
Yes.
At least nobody goes to sleep when he calls like they used to.
Damn.
I love me some Joshy Boy, y'all. Guys, awesome, dude. Brian, what do you think of Joshy Boy?
I think he had one of his best phone calls in a while just then. You going to take a call or are you going to play the guitar?
I love that run. I love that song, y'all. I'm sorry. That's a really nice piece of pop, whatever that is, pop jazz music. All right, let's go back to the phones. Do y'all think that's I was trying to, you know how those of you that play music, you're like in another mind space when you do that, and I'm on the air, which hurt my brain, and I had to remember, okay, so that key is based in D minor, so I had to go, okay, what are the chords in that? And in my head, I was sounding it out while I was thinking of Joshy Boy saying, what did he say? Muppet something Muppet? What was it? Muppet. Say it again, Bri. What did he say? He's locked into this Muppet thing. Is he like a fake...
Something about Gino or...
Is he like a fake small Mike right now?
He's tried to be a fake small Mike, a fake bully Joe.
Is it working, Matt, or no?
No. Josh Boy's in a bigger slump than Levi Clark right now.
Joshy Boy! Take him under wings, Matt. What could Joshy Boy do to redeem himself? And while you're doing it, I'm going to play Tonight the Music Seems So Loud for Joshy Boy, because Joshy Boy, I wish we could lose this crowd. Maybe it's better this way, Joshy Boy, because we'd hurt each other with the things we want to say, Josh. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, trying to be a cattle call 2.0 is certainly not the way to go. It's not entertaining. It's not original. You got to at least come up with your own stick if you're going to do drive-bys.
Brian, do you agree that Joshy Boy is, I don't know, is he devolving here? We did so much work with him. And where's Negative Dave been this week, Brian? Did you run Negative Dave off? Here we had this thing, and I told him to breathe the other night. I mean, what do we think here? Talk to me.
I'd prefer to change the subject.
I think he said Gino Muppet to me. Real Mr. Tubbs just said. Poor Joshy Boy. I mean, Joshy Boy, I love you. Please stay. We're never going to dance again, brah. Man, this guilty feeling, it's got no rhythm, brah. We could have had this dance forever, Joshy Boy. And now you're gone. Real Mr. Tubbs says, wake me up before Briny Go-Go. Bri, they're putting you in lyrics now. You put the white spark into the flame. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. It's Stan Adam. How you doing, man?
Hey, T.A. Good to hear from you,
Hey,
Magnum
man.
T.A. Good to hear from you.
I'm going to try to I'm not trying to bash anybody, but
Yep.
I don't know why anybody would want to call and wait on hold that long just to do that. I don't. There's things that never really had much of an appeal to me, and that's one of them. But
It's
hey,
kind of
whatever.
sad, right, to see our love fade like this. It really is. It's killing me softly, really. Roberta Flack.
Well, I
Slash
just
the
want to get
Fugees.
back on a good topic, man.
Yep.
You kind of hit on something with Tony Jones, and so the Johnson thing. I didn't really think that many people knew or cared much about that school or other schools besides UT, but today's obviously changed my mind on that. My son started going to camps there a couple of years ago, and they offered him a scholarship, so he's trying to decide on where to go to school, much like your kids did and a lot of people's kids are doing. But Coach Sharp and Tony have been really just encouraging for my son as a junior, a basketball player and in the area. And they do a lot of really good things, man. Like they do some inner city camps for kids, and they're taking kids. I actually watched that game too the other night when they came back and won. They actually had to win their tournament to be able to qualify for this. So down 7 with 2 to go, and you lose, you're done. So it was a pretty big win for them, and they've got a kid. Ironically, yesterday you were talking about people not staying around. Well, that level is kind of the entry level basketball right now, and those kids are getting poached and picked every year. But they've got a 4th-year player, Mason Lockhart, who could have gone anywhere he wanted to go last year and chose to stay there. Over on Chapman Highway. Maybe it's the Yield Steakhouse. I don't know, but he chose to stay. It's just a totally different story from what's going on the other side of sports that we all follow, where you've got these kids that are going to these small Christian schools and, choose to stay there because they love the community, kind of like you did, staying here in Knoxville. I think we're all grateful for that. So it's definitely a totally different story, a different side of the coin from what's going on at the big, Division I Power 5 schools.
It's funny, Adam. I'm looking at your text thanking me for having him on. I got like 10 texts from people thanking me for having him on. Bill Kearney listening to us over in the Carolinas says, man, the guy makes me smile. The guy makes me smile. I would imagine that if your son went there, he'd have a great experience with those guys. Because I just know Tony to care. Those guys care about people, man. I know Tony cares.
Yeah. No, they're great, and they're having to do a lot of this stuff on their own. They don't have the big, the big money coming in to be able to do the things that everybody else does. So those guys are doing a lot of the legwork themselves. Just like you heard Tony say, he's working a full-time job and then going over there as well. So it's a harder path. It's kind of what you do. It's kind of what I do. Your commission-only sales. You got to get out, hustle, and it's much harder. And you don't have the payday that a lot of these coaches get, and a lot of these players get. But they've offered I think 7 or 8 local kids. Within like an hour radius. And if you have listeners out there who have small children or kids that are in the elementary to middle school range, recruiting is a lot different now than it was even 2-3 years ago. With the reclassification going down, kids holding back, parents holding their kids back. You got a lot of kids that are 20 going into, to junior college programs, 20 going into prep schools. So you're going to end up having 25, 26, 27-year-old seniors playing college sports pretty soon. So it's a different world, and places like Johnson are one of the few bright spots in the area that they're still, look at these high school kids and trying to do it the way that we all grew up enjoying it being done.
It's a really sad thing, man. The way the sports get older, and then the older means, because my son got caught in that during right around, and he saw a lot of kids get caught in it during the COVID time, because that created a logjam. And there were a bunch of kids who were committed to, because I met them at tournaments, and they would say, yeah, my son was going to go here, but he ended up, because I would say to somebody, how is your son a high-level player playing in this tournament? Like, really, like, way up. And this lady was like, well, he's supposed to go school in the South somewhere, and the kid ended up at, like, a Colgate, but which is a nice school, but it's brutally cold conditions. And the mother said, the coach had to call us and say, hey, we got log jammed because we lost the season, and these other kids got – and I got to thinking, in my feeble little mind, there's just only so much space out there. And now that these kids are delaying, like you're saying, going into school and all these sports, that pushes everything down a level for everybody. Everything down. That's kind of tough.
I would love for you to get Mark on to talk about that, what he sees in the because people spend a lot of money on sports training and youth training and travel sports, and there's just no college coaches going to watch this stuff anymore.
Nope.
They're not there. I mean, you might get some of the 17U at the higher levels, but spending your time and money on that kind of stuff right now, it's just like one of your callers mentioned, one of the kids, I won't say his name, but one of the kids from Bearden. He's reclassed down. The kid's almost 20 years old. Still in high school.
That kid? The kid that's going to the Navy?
Yeah, and he's really good.
Really? He's almost 20 years old. Wow.
I mean, if you hold somebody back in middle school now, you're looking at they could be, 19, 20 years old, and almost 20 in high school, and but that hurts the kids that are 16, 17 that used to get opportunities. So if you're out there, it might be a good show topic, and maybe when it slows down, to look at that, what the sports landscape for kids that are coming up that are kind of on the fence, because a lot of, as you said, it gets pushed down. Well, at some point, you get pushed down to where there is no level. So there's a lot of kids that miss out just because they graduate at 17, like a lot of people did, and they're competing against kids that are 20 for the same spot, and we all know how that's going to go.
Thank you, my man. Good talking to you. I didn't realize that kid was that old. And different search. I'm not judging anybody by the way they parent kids. I had to. I'm sure I made my mistakes. I've told my kids, as I failed as a parent, I would walk up to them and apologize for different things I did, and I would say, 15 more minutes on the couch when you're 45. So I just look right at them and say that. Taylor wants to know, Matt, question for you. Will Grimmer start at first base on Friday? What's your call? What are we going to do with Blake Grimmer here?
No, I think Levi Clark will start at first with Stone catching. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Grimmer's in the DH spot, though.
Will he hit this weekend?
Yes. Yeah. He'll hit.
Will he hit SEC pitching?
Yeah, probably. Especially right-handers. Yeah, I think you will. He's got a really nice swing.
Back to the phones we go. Russell Smith asking me if I'm having allergy issues this week because they're smashing him. Either one of you guys experiencing it with things blooming? You guys noticed it?
Some sneezing a little bit, but not really bad.
Yeah. My nose, I look like, I don't know, Mr. Snuffleupagus maybe. But I make it work for me. Brian, if your nose was my size when things were blooming, do you think that'd be a problem?
Perhaps.
Brian, I'm going to let you make the call here because we've had a couple really sweet calls that we would have missed, including one from Tan Adam, who's a really good egg. Do you?
I wish we'd have taken that call first, and that first call never.
Shit.
Never again, hopefully.
Brian, Brian, he's going to have heat with you. He's going to come after you like a pack of bees, man. You don't want that. Should we take one final call, Brian? I've already punched it in, but it's up to you.
Well, you're going to take it anyway, so go ahead and take it.
Matt, why would he say that? As if I don't give him some
because
kind of autonomy?
Because you always do. You never were not going to take it.
Seymour Joe said wait 2 weeks and we're all going to be freezing. No, I disagree with that. I think winter's gone. And the time is right for dancing in the streets. They're dancing in Chicago and down in New Orleans and up in the Motor City. Maybe the worst song ever recorded, okay, is when Dancing in the Streets was done by David Bowie and Mick Jagger. That might be the worst thing ever put on wax. Hello and welcome in. You are on the air.
Hey, Tony B. Vincent Nashville. How you doing today?
That is an incredible. I can tell you're an incredible caller already. I don't know if have we ever talked?
Oh yeah, we've talked.
You know, you're incredible.
Times.
You're going to bring it. You're going to bring it to the table. I can feel it.
I'm thinking I'm going to go with Vincent Vegas because all the bets I've placed based on your advice has lost me a ton of money. But you know, we'll set that aside.
Let's go. I love it, man.
Hey, Tony.
I'm always on for a good razzing. Yes.
You're getting up there in age, and I would recommend to you that when you finally hang up this broadcasting career, you could put in an application for an eating coach at the University of Tennessee.
I'll tell you this, my friend. I eat a pretty clean diet. I don't know if I could help GMAT gain weight, but it's working for me right now. It's really working.
That story that you told earlier today is one of the funniest things I've ever heard on live radio. Go to the basketball team, Tony, which is what I'm calling about.
Yes, sir.
Maybe get Briney and
the main event here. Let's talk here. Yep.
Contribution in here. I looked up today the NCAA tournament committee's criteria for not the 68 field. With the 68 field, they use Torvik. But for the seeding, they use BPI and net. And in BPI, Tennessee is currently tied for 12th with Michigan State, and in net we're 20. Now, Joe Lunardi has been historically correct at predicting the 68 field, and he's been historically well off in predicting seeding. I know he's got us at a 5 seed. Where do you guys see if we beat Vanderbilt on Saturday, we secure the 4, we get one win in the tournament, What are you seeing as a seed? It looks like potentially a 3, 4, 5, or 6, but it's hard to see us fall into a 6 with the computer numbers being so high.
I think there'll be about a 4 in that scenario. To get 2 wins over Vanderbilt's really strong. You got one over Bama.
So in your opinion, the only way we get a 3 is if we beat Florida on Saturday, correct? And then win the tournament. Would that get us
Yeah, I
to
thought
a
a
three?
3 would still be on the table, but they lost to Bama on Saturday, so I don't know if that's so much on the table now. They'd probably have to go on a deep run in Nashville to get there, at least get the championship game, if not win it.
The tournament doesn't matter to the selection committee, especially the weekend games. For whatever reason, they've shown in the past few years that what happens on Saturday and Sundays in those tournaments just doesn't matter unless there's a bid stealer.
Isn't that sad, guys?
It seems more like they don't care what happens Sunday, guys, more than they don't care what happens Saturday.
Yeah.
If Tennessee beats Florida on Saturday, I agree with you. I think they already have it seeded on Sunday before those games go final.
Yes, I agree with that.
So if we beat Florida on Saturday, we beat Vanderbilt, keep the 4, lock the 4, and then beat Florida on Saturday, win the 4-5 game or 4-12 game or whatever it may be. I just don't want to really be on that 4-5 line. I'll tell you why. The 1 seeds in this tournament coming up are juggernauts.
No, you're exactly right, man.
But the 2 seeds are not.
You would almost rather be, like a caller said earlier, a 6. But the problem with Tennessee going out off, like losing this weekend, getting beat in the tournament, and falling to the 6 line, you'd almost rather do that. But here's the weird thing about it. Our team is capable of losing to an underachieving high major 11 seed that would sneak in and get hot, maybe out of a play-in round, something like that. This team is really, really strange. And I should trust them more than I do, but I don't trust them, if that makes any sense. I don't know what to think about them in March.
Do you all think Nate Immense can be back Saturday, given what Barnes said, that had that been the last game of the year on Tuesday, he'd have played? I don't know how to read that.
Well, here's how I read it, because I've talked to somebody on the staff. They don't want to play him Saturday.
No, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
it really doesn't.
Yeah,
There's only one tournament that matters.
That's right.
And it is this Saturday, and it ain't the week after Saturday.
Right.
It's the week after.
So, in other words, if they had to play him Saturday to qualify for something, people don't want to hear this, but them nailing a 4 seed or getting their they think they can beat Vanderbilt without him, by the way. But
I think they can too.
Yeah, they think they can beat Vanderbilt without him. The fact of the matter is that if he plays, it's going to be because they cleared him to play, and basically he begged his way into playing. And I think the kid really does want to play, because most top prospects would have not re-entered that game after what happened to their knee the other night. He went right back out there, jumped up in the air, and felt that pain in his ankle, and he was like, oh, hell, now I've got 2 things going on. So...
The kid is a warrior. I think that served him well in the draft. I mean,
yes,
not a whole lot of guys these days would ever put at risk that kind of money in the future. So you got to tip your hat to him and say,
yes,
you a dog, you know?
I can't believe some of the comments we were getting on the post-game show after he went down. And I realize people get frustrated after a loss, but calling him soft, a guy that plays to contact the way he does, he's so far. If you're listening to me right now, no matter when you're listening, thousands of people will. But if you believe Nate Amen is a soft basketball player, you don't understand the sport. I can't help you, and you don't understand it, because he looks for contact on the floor. Hunts contact. A guy soft with his skills would sit out there and shoot 3 balls all day, like Ralph Sampson used to back in the day. Or any of a myriad of big wings that we see now. And you're laughing because you remember those days. The truth is, this kid's anything but soft. If I'm an NBA team, I love him. This guy puts 30, 40 pounds on his body. He's going to be a hell of a player at that level. Mark that down.
Do you really think he could put 30 pounds on that frame? I see him more truly as Kevin Durant type. I mean, he can boom up a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. If he can actually get 30 pounds on that frame.
I'll tell you this. If he hires Derek Owings, he's got a chance, and brings Tennessee's eating coach with him.
Indeed. Tony, I'm going to leave you with this.
Yes.
Have you watched some, like in the State of the Union address, where all the numbers like click up and down based on what the president's saying?
Yes, I've seen stuff like that, sure.
Okay. If you had a thing in your show, every time you talk about women's basketball, it goes to a 0.
Oh, Brian! He dunked on the women on the way out when you and I will be glued to the TV. Tonight at like 8:45 Eastern time because the first game's going to go to like triple overtime. Right, Bri?
Well, I don't think any of the games have gone that long yet. So
talk about some awful basketball.
I think, it's sort of you don't see toward the end of the game. A lot of them have been very competitive. So.
Oh, shit. That Kelly Jolly team that she threw out there this year, Matt, I'd like to see them get in the squared circle with that South Carolina bunch and use the Stableford scoring system and how you would rate it. Matt, you imagine being a South Carolina basketball fan and being invested in it. What a miserable existence that must be. What do you think South Carolina Negative is like?
I don't know. It probably have to really work at it to find flaws with Don Staley, but I'm sure that he probably does. I mean, if you're a South Carolina basketball fan, I mean, you kind of probably have reasonable expectations and kind of know what they are.
Yep.
So it's hard to, I mean, you never want to be this bad, and you always want to kind of be in the tournament or at least make it, more times than not. But, I mean, they had 1 year that's the outlier, and really it was, 2 weekends they were outliers, and the rest of it they've been non-competitive in the league.
I couldn't help but think about something that Brian said earlier, and it's that, well, maybe you pointed it out. The year they went was a year they had it. Basically, they played at home for the first weekend, and they got and they got a real break there. But a South Carolina basketball fan, I'm sitting there watching. Well, I didn't watch. Brian, when I saw Kelly Jolly's team earlier this year, to our caller in Nashville's point, when they played the Lady Vols, and that was that Tennessee's one win, Brian, this stretch? Or am I imagining things?
They won that game and they beat Georgia on the road.
Okay.
That's the only games they've won, I think, post February 1st.
So are they spending like $5,000 there on that sport at Missouri? Those players she had, Brian. Now I'm being serious. Could they go and win the MAC with her team?
Now, I don't think that I would not bet on.
I mean, for those that haven't seen them, did that kind of lame Alabama team not beat them by 40 points last night, Bri? Poor Kelly.
I think they kind of pulled away late.
Poor Kelly took a bad job.
I didn't see the final score.
Poor Kelly took a bad job. I mean, they have zero interest in it. Matt, are they any more committed to baseball, or are they still fielding a car with Bondo and primer all over it, like a runaround NASCAR?
Well, they've certainly committed more to it than they have the past couple of years. But I mean, they should be a little bit better. I mean, they won 3 league games last year. They swept A&M in College Station, which was insane. But they're non-competitive. They'll probably be a little bit more competitive. But I mean, regardless of, that's the thing that's in this era. Even if you spend money, it doesn't guarantee more wins. And especially when you talk about league play, if everybody invests $5 million more dollars, that's great. But somebody still has to lose the games when you play. So you almost kind of need 1 or 2 bottom feeders at the bottom of your league so teams can rack up wins and to have that extra team in a tournament like basketball.
That's right. And you dum-dums that want to get rid of Vanderbilt, we need a bottom. You dum-dums that are always talking about, well, let's run Vanderbilt out of here. It's dum-dum talk. Brian, do we have any dum-dums, you think, in our audience?
No, never. What's a dum-dum?
Matt, thank you. Bri, thank you. Matt, are you pumped for the Vanderbilt series or Vanderbilt game on Saturday?
Yeah. Senior Day should be a fun game. It's hopefully you can at least sweep them since you've not had a great year at home and blown some leads to teams you shouldn't. It'd be nice to win that one, especially if Amen doesn't play. If you could win without Amen, that'd be a really impressive victory.
Be unbelievable, and tell a friend about this show. They'll tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. We love you, appreciate you. Thank you, guys. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin Today's show momentarily.
was
keep it locked in right here.
What would I call it?
At TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
Today's show was amusing.
It amused me. Great calls today, y'all. And Joshy boy. Somebody already has your gimmick, son. Somebody already has your gimmick, son. I love you. And Laura sent you the copper card, and you're going to do us like this? You got your copper card. You're one of the few of the proud that got your copper card. Sheesh, Louise. I mean, you got your copper. You're biting the hand that fed you, sonny boy. Now, when it's time for your birthday party next year, are you going to be like back calling or? Inquiring minds want to know. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show.